Hello, I'm Derek Wheatley and welcome to episode 33 of the Wheatley podcast. As always, thanks for your support during the week, for checking out our segment on Sunday where I butcher a song and talk a little bit about. We've got a little bit of news. If you want to go back on last Sunday, we've got a bit of news for you that we're going to do with the podcast. Thanks to Kieran for turning up last week and entertaining us for an hour. It was good crack. We're still on the Discord server, so if anybody wants to tune into that, give me or John a shout and we'll organise it for you. It's essentially just me now posting things. I'm posting photographs by like Diane Arbus and art by people with mental health difficulties, which is unbelievable stuff, and music and things like that. So if you want to check in with that, give me or John a shout. So to introduce our our only guest for today, he's a professional grappler, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, and the owner and head coach of SBG Tullamore, all of those things at once. And his name is Kieran Davern. How are you, Kieran?
Oh, great. Thanks for having me.
Listen, when you say on behalf of myself and John, thanks very much for coming over, because we know you're in a bit of chaos at the moment with the stuff you're getting up to with training yourself and training other people, so we really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Of course.
It's a pleasure to be asked.
Thanks, man. So we'll start at the beginning. Just a short history of your upbringing.
So I was born in Limerick. Parents lived in Tipperary. Moved over to London when I was like maybe 1 year of age, because there wasn't much work on that in Ireland. And we ended up staying over there for maybe about 11, 12 years.
Oh, really? Yeah?
Yeah, lived over there, started secondary school there. And then my parents felt it wasn't the best place to bring up three kids. It was my brother and sister at the time and myself. And we moved back to Ireland. We moved to a small little town in Offaly called Kilcormac. It's in between Birr and Tullamore.
Okay.
Population about 2,000 people.
Right.
The reason we ended up there was my uncle found my parents a little cottage.
Oh, right.
It was like 250 quid or something at the time for the month, which was cheap. And we were told that it was basically a holiday. We were going to stay there for a couple of months till we get on our feet. Yeah. And I don't know, 20 years later, I've actually moved out to Tullamore since, but yeah, we're still in Offaly anyway. Yeah. 20 years later, the plan was to go to Offaly and then maybe move to Galway or something like that. But sure, everything happens for a reason. So
for sure,
we are.
Are they still? They're not still in Kilcormac, are they?
No, they're not. My mother lives in Ballyboy, and my dad lives over in Templemore. So,
really? Yeah.
So and then myself, my brother, and my sister, and that we all live in Tullamore, and that, and I have two smaller sisters as well.
So you've got three sisters and just
three sisters, and then my brother Michael. Yeah.
Right.
So
good, busy.
Yeah, busy. Yeah. So we've travelled a little bit.
Nice. I didn't realise at all that you lived in.
Yeah, I lived in England. Lived in London for about 11 or 12 years. I still have good friends there that I stay in contact with. Yeah. And I've been back and forth, say, over the years. Before I opened up the gym and that, I went back, to try get work in the recession and that type of stuff. And I was training and that over there. So yeah, London has a kind of soft spot in my heart.
Yeah, nice. And you did you come back with a bit of an accent at the time, or?
Maybe like more words, maybe a bit of a twang and more words in that. Yeah. But it was funny when I was in England, and I kind of tell this story a lot. Like I was kind of not bullied, but you're just kids being kids. Like I was picked on because I was Irish. Yeah. So I was an Irish this and that, whatever. And then sure, when I came to Ireland when I was young, I was in English this and that. So I think that's where the fighting background came from.
Do you know what though? Right, I can relate fully, because I went to school in Dublin. So I'm obviously from Athlone. So when I came down to Athlone to visit my dad, they'd all say I had a Dublin accent. When I went up to Dublin, I was a Culchie. Yeah. So it's kind of no-win situation. Yeah, that's
what I used to get.
Yeah, exactly. I should have stopped in Meath or something. In between. But can you tell us, like, when you first became aware of mental health?
When I first became aware of mental health was probably maybe 2000 and not too long ago, maybe about 2009, 2010, and for the simple reason, like I was kind of like living in Kilcormac and that, and I was kind of like lost. So I was kind of suffering with, like, say, my own kind of mental health, kind of like issues myself and that, you know what I mean, kind of depression and everything else that goes along with it. Just kind of felt that, like, just couldn't catch a break in life. Yeah. The world was against me, this type of thing. And this was probably like my first, maybe I was a few years into training jiu-jitsu in that time. So I was probably like maybe 21 or something like that at the time. And just, it was kind of like the story basically goes, like I read a couple of books on, like, say, mindset and that, and the first book I ever read on like, say, the way your mind works was a book called The Power of the Subconscious Mind. And that book literally like sent me down like a positive spiral. I was like, right, hold on a minute. Like, so it's not like, you know, the people you hang around with, the stuff that you put in your mind, you know, the food you eat and all this type of stuff, like that all has a consequence on, like, say, your mental health. And I wasn't really aware of it until, I suppose, like 2010 or something like that. Do you know what I mean? I just thought that, just didn't really think anything of it because I didn't go through it. Or maybe none of my immediate family that I knew of maybe because back a few years ago it wasn't really open. No one really talked about it. So maybe everyone was going through it, but no one really talked about it, you know, especially in Ireland and that. But I suppose it was 2010, and when I kind of went through my own kind of thing, that's when I was kind of like aware of it. You know?
How great is it though that you found it in a book, or that set you off? Like, obviously that was the kind of the match, but to be able to find it that way rather than have to go through like maybe even getting worse before you get better, which is that's a way that some people have to do it because that's what is kind of put on them. But to be able to find something like that when you really needed it is pretty special.
Yeah, it was funny because like I was like, for me looking back, if you ask me what was the where was rock bottom in my life, it was that point. You know, that was rock bottom. And I remember, like, I read that book, Power of Subconscious Mind. It's a yellow book. And then I was just reading about, like, you know, how powerful the mind is, and, you know, about, like, say, just like, you know, talking negatively about yourself, and, you know, being surrounded by negative people, and maybe, like, you know, like not doing things that will promote your, like, your health, your fitness, and your mindset properly. Do you know what I mean? And I was supposed to be aware of it, and then I started reading more books, and then I read like the likes of The Secret and that. Do you know what I mean? And then that, like, obviously I took some good stuff from that and everything else, and I read like The Law of Attraction, and then I just kept reading books, and I just kind of kept educating myself on it, and then I was just kind of like, right, I'm gonna give this stuff a go. Do you know what I mean? So I'm gonna write down goals. I'm gonna, you know, try think positive. And I literally just immersed myself in it like for years, and then now it's just my way of thinking.
Yeah, I think that's the key though. Like, it's years.
It's years. Yeah. It was years. It wasn't one book that fixed it. It was one book that sent me down a positive spiral. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And it was just from there, it was either, I had two choices when I was at rock bottom. It was either quit and throw in the towel or keep fighting. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I know that sounds cliche and that, but for me, it was like, right, look, a big turning point for me actually was before I opened up the gym. I was actually teaching down in Athlone. I was teaching over in Athlone Bootycan.
Oh, right, okay.
That's where I suppose I met Martin and Sid and, you know, a few of the lads that trained down there, like, so that's why I kind of got involved, or know the lads from Athlone, like, kind of really well. I knew them before that, but I kind of trained with them in Athlone. But when I was at that time, like, I literally didn't have a penny in my pocket. It was like, I think it was like the middle of the recession. I used to drive down to Athlone, and I've probably told this story a few times, but I drive down to Athlone and I teach a class, and, you know, I might get maybe 7 to maybe 21 quid on it, because the deal was kind of like, you can keep the €7 of the lads that weren't on membership. Okay, right. But most lads were on membership. Yeah. But for me, like, I get, like, say, maybe 21 quid, or a good night might be like, say, 28 quid or 35 quid, whatever the number was. And that's big money. Some nights I could walk away with 7 quid or no money. Yeah. And there were some nights where I walked away with no money and I'd break down on the way home, knowing that when I drive down, that I'm probably not going to have enough fuel to get back. And it was like, on a number of occasions I had to ring, say, my girlfriend Jamie, like, to come down and pick me up, like, in Davern, or to give me like a little bit, you know, tenner for diesel in a can, or 5 or whatever it was at the time. And on a good night when I get, like, say, 20 or 30 quid, I'd stop off in, like, Kilmartin's petrol station. I'd buy some beans, eggs, bread, milk, and throw like a tenner in the car so I could train in Portlaoise the next day, so I could do jiu-jitsu over there. And that was it. That's kind of how I lived for a while. I just, you know, and but anyway, the kind of going off track a little bit. But I remember, like, I was at rock bottom, didn't have any money coming in, and someone said to me, look, you're good at coaching, why don't you open up a gym? And then literally I went in, I said, right, you know, it was like a spark that was kind of, you know, ignited. I went into, like, the enterprise board, and I said to the woman in there, like, you know, is there any chance you could help me get set up or whatever, you know, and I had to go through a whole process and that. But she basically said, she turned me down first. She said, MMA and jiu-jitsu, and, you know, she didn't really understand it. She thought it was like cage fighting type stuff. She was like, that's probably not going to work type thing. And then I just said to her, look, if you give me this chance, I promise you I'm going to make this work. Like, I basically just, like, said it straight out, like, I'm going to make this work. Like, I'm good at coaching or wherever else. There's nothing around like this in the Midlands. You know, I'm going to make this work. And she basically just turned around and said, look, just by the way you're saying and that, I believe in you, so I'm going to give you 1,500 quid. So 1,500 quid isn't a huge amount when you're trying to open up a gym, you know what I mean? But it was enough for me to get a few mats.
Well, this is the start. You got to start
all
somewhere.
I needed. Yeah, it was a few mats, and I rented a bit of space above a boxing club in Tullamore, and I borrowed the other half of mats off friends in Portlaoise, John Ging and Marco Conroy. They lent me mats, and I kind of just put two different mats together for a year or so, and then that was it. I never looked back. Yeah, that was it. So that's how it all started.
I mean, to do it like when you're in that place, that's the hardest part, because it's very easy. Like, we all know how easy it is to give up on it. Because that is the easier option, to just stop doing things and just say, well, I can't do it. So to kind of to push through and kind of see something kind of creative from there is it's great. So that was, so going back then to what was it that prompted the start of your MMA, I suppose, your interest in it?
Like, say, training wise? Like, it's funny, I was actually telling this story recently, right? There was a time when I was like maybe 14 or 15 years of age. I got asked to go on holiday in Florida, right? From one of my best mates that lives in London, and we're still good friends now. His name is Sean Kane, and his mother and his brother were going, and they contacted my parents in Ireland, and they said, look, we're going to Florida. We'd love to bring Kieran along. We'll pay for him and whatever else, because Sean and Kieran get on really well. It'd be great for them to see each other. They haven't really seen each other too much. He used to come over in the summers and that, and then I'd go over to him and this type of stuff. So we stayed in contact, and we're still in contact and that. So I went to Florida on holiday with them, and we're in, like, say, in a hotel, and like I said, there was like a lobby with loads of like armchairs and that type of stuff around. And we met these two lads from like the UK. I don't know, they're up from around up north somewhere like that. And we were kids being kids. We were just kind of like wrestling and that. Then, like, I thought it was like kind of tough at the time, because I did a bit of karate and boxing and the in and out of it when I was a kid and whatever else. And I lifted a little bit of weights and that. So I thought it was tough, like any young lad or whatever, But this young lad like choked me about like 5 or 6 times in a row. Anytime I try like basically like a rugby tackle, do you know what I mean? We were having the crack, like we were just wrestling, and like he literally, anytime I'd run in on him, he just like guillotined me. Now I didn't know it was a guillotine at the time,
of course.
And he just like literally take me back, and then he choked me, and I just couldn't figure out like what was after happening to me. So I didn't I never really knew what it was until I started jiu-jitsu, and I look back and I was kind of like, oh, that's what that was.
That's what he was doing.
That's what he did to me. Do you know what I mean? So there was that little moment, and then there was when I used to come home from school, I was always big into sports. I played sports from about maybe 5 or 6 years of age, like soccer and athletics and that type of stuff. But anytime I used to come home from school, secondary school, and do my homework, there used to be like different types of like the UFC would be on Bravo, or Cage Rage would be on Extreme Sports or something like that. So I'd be doing my homework, watching like say like MMA, and it was just on certain channels. You wouldn't get on every channel. It wasn't as mainstream as it is now, and I looked at it and I thought it was cool, but I really wanted to learn it, because I wanted to learn how to properly defend myself. That was it. Do you know what I mean? And I remember I was kind of like Googling like different gyms in Ireland and that, and the only 2 gyms that came up on the internet, like the internet was kind of like fairly scarce of what was on it, like say back, what's this, about maybe 13 years ago, or maybe in around that 13 years ago or something like that. I was Googling stuff, and the only 2 gyms that came up was SBG Ireland, and then a gym up on Newry. So then I was kind of thinking like, right, SBG is going to be the closest one or whatever. So went up, did my first session in SBG, and then I met a couple of lads from Portlaoise, and they had a few mats like in a Mocker Hall in Portlaoise. So then basically I ended up, that was John Ging and a few other lads. John Ging was the person that ran the club at the time. And it wasn't even a club, it was just a few lads that just go in a box to head off each other, and then we do a bit of jiu-jitsu in the beginning. Then it became more professional. But so then we'd all travel up together up to SPG, and then we couldn't keep the travelling going, so we stayed down in Portlaoise, and John was I think he was a blue belt, or he was under John Kavanagh and that. So we were just under John, and we were just training away, and a couple of the SPG lads would come down and teach on a Saturday, like Chris Fields and a few other lads, and and then I trained in Portlaoise for a few years, and then I ended up going back to SPG Ireland and trained up there. And one of the reasons why I opened the gym was because obviously I didn't have much going on. I didn't have an income or anything like that, but it was just to pay for my fees in SPG, and just to be able to train full time. That's all I wanted to do, because I knew
but you were doing MMA then, were you?
I was doing MMA then. I was fighting. Yeah.
And like, why? What, like, now obviously grappling and jiu-jitsu is your thing.
Yeah.
Why did you kind
Why
of
did I
drop the
change?
MMA to?
Like a couple of different reasons. One, I just like I couldn't see at the time. I didn't really see like a I suppose you could pursue a career in grappling, because like it was like the likes of EBI and all this has came along, and that's what's made, you know, I suppose grappling popular. Now you have like Kasai, Polaris, and you know all the rest of them and that type of stuff. I was probably doing MMA for different reasons. Like, do you know what I mean? I was probably doing MMA because like in the beginning I loved it, you know, and I still love MMA. But as a competitor, I think I was doing it just for something to do. You know, it was like I train every day, and I knew that I was happy training, and like say, and then I wanted something to work towards. So then it was like, oh, take an MMA fight. So then I'd fight, and then it ended up just taking loads of different fights and that type of stuff. But I was always kind of like a grappler at heart.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I love the jiu-jitsu side of it, love the wrestling and that, and like spent like a while in Thailand and that type of stuff doing striking and everything else. But I think it was always pulled towards to grappling. I just thought it was fun and enjoyed it. So, and then I think when I started getting like a decent level at grappling, I was like, I kept like nearly dismissing it. I was going to competitions and I'd win a couple of competitions and I'd be kind of like, well, sure, it was only these lads that turned up today.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, this type of stuff. And I was like, well, sure, this lad wasn't here, or sure, anyone could have done that or whatever.
Yeah.
And I kept dismissing it. And then the more I travelled around the world and that type of stuff, I got to train in different gyms. And then I was like, right, hold on a minute. Like, you actually did really well against this colour belt or this person or whatever else. Like, you know, and then I suppose it's Irish mentality, you just kind of like dismiss it, you know, yeah, but I think it was just more of a grappler at heart, and
You
then
just preferred it, really, like.
Yeah, and there was a pat, like there's a pat now in grappling where you can kind of get your name out there, and you know there's obviously the coaching side of it, and you can travel the world and teach seminars, and I love the jiu-jitsu lifestyle. You know, I live it. Like I love traveling, I love training, I love, you know, coaching, and you know, even like the surfing and that type of stuff that kind of goes with it, and flip-flop lifestyle and all that. Like I love that. I just I want an easy life. I just want to train and I want to coach and I want to see my lads do well, and that's it. That's all I want from life. And you know, I want my family to be happy, and
you're doing it, like that's you
I'm
found
content. I found what I love, and I found my why.
Yeah.
Do you know? So
can I actually chat to you about ego, right? Because I was talking to a couple of lads, I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago, and we knew you were coming on. And it was Calvin and Ryan I was talking to in the gym, and we were talking about ego on the mat. So we're at the same level, the three of us, right? So we kind of always, I don't know if everybody thinks like this, but we were talking about the fact that some belts will hate if they're tapped by a belt lower than them, right? So, or even a new person or whatever it works out like. And jiu-jitsu, I suppose, talks a lot about leaving the ego outside, don't bring it on the mats and that. But the human is very much ego driven.
Yeah.
Like, where did you, as you went through the years of doing jiu-jitsu, where did you find the level where you could do it, or have you found the level where you could do it? You know,
I just got tapped a lot. That was it. I just had to get better.
Yeah.
I was actually I was training up in Dublin yesterday with Davern O'Connell, and we actually had a similar conversation about this. About like said, you know, like some lads when they get to blue belt, and if they got submitted by a white belt, like that would absolutely kill them. All right, but if you just say if you gave them the blue belt today and they got subbed today, like that killed them if they got subbed by a white belt. But if they got subbed the day before while they were still a white belt, it wouldn't bother them as much.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, like, they put pressure on themselves, like with belts. They're like, I'm a blue belt now, I can't get tapped by white belts. I've big strong lads that are white belts in the gym that could tap some of the blue belts. You know, I have some blue belts that'll tap brown belts. You know, and everyone, I suppose everyone has a different journey, and everyone's a different age, and you know, everyone has a different background, and you know, everything else. I think the ego side of it in jiu-jitsu is, look, we all have an ego, and like when we need to have an ego, if we didn't have an ego, we wouldn't get better. But the ego has to be under control. Yeah. I think that when you're, for me anyway, I've in the last few months, say preparing for this Polaris match, I've been tapped more times in the last few months than I have in the last few years.
Really?
And this is the best I've ever felt. Wow. Right, so I've started in positions, like I've started in some bad positions. I've been like shattered going into like doing shark tank style training, and I've had like say the likes of
if people aren't aware, just because there might be, what's shark tank training?
Shark tank is basically like where you just go in the middle and then like you just send in a fresh person until there's a submission, you know, and then it's basically meant to break you. But the whole idea is like when you get kind of used to like fresh people coming in, when it's just you versus one other person, then it's going to be easier. That's the kind of the idea behind it, especially the mentality in that, and like being able to push. Like I've started in like positions there with like say Marie, who's one of the girls in the gym, where she was literally starting in the triangle from the back position,
right?
And like there was like probably very little to no hope of me getting out of many of them, but sure, and that's it, and that's a part of it. And I want my lads to see that. Like I've started in like different armbar positions with lads, and they've like literally like they've caught me in that. And then even now that I'm training with more black belts, like we're pushing each other more, and everyone's catching each other in that, and we're all just getting better together. So I think what it does, I think the ego thing, it just comes with time. And it definitely comes with rolling on the mats. You have to be on the mats every single day. The more you get tapped, the more you put yourself into bad positions, the better you're going to get. And then you kind of realise that it's okay to get tapped.
Exactly.
Like say, for example, just because I wear a black belt, it doesn't mean that, like if I'm rolling in the gym tomorrow, any gym, that a blue belt couldn't catch me. You could maybe you didn't have a good night's sleep, or maybe you just switched off, or maybe you took them for granted, or maybe like you were his gold medal, you were his world gold medal. Do you know what I mean? He just wanted to get you in that footlock, or and some blue belts, for example, they might have like a black belt level move.
Yeah.
Like some blue belts might just have like a nasty footlock, and no matter who they get it on, they might. So I'm just using that as an example.
No, I get you.
Yeah. The whole ego thing, you see it a lot in jiu-jitsu. You see people said, like, no ego and no shoes and that type of thing. But a lot of people don't live by it. Like, I don't like getting tapped. That's the competitor side in me. But like I said, the coaching side in me is like, if just say if one of my lads caught me or something like that, I'd be like, right, that annoyed me as a competitor because I left my hand there, or I left my head here, or whatever. But as a coaching side of it, I'm like, right, sure, like if you raise wolves, expect to get bitten sometime.
Well, Martin's the opposite.
Right. He hates it.
Yeah, I said I wouldn't have a go at Martin. I just did.
Sure, we have to have a go at him.
He knew when I said I wasn't going to do it. He knew I was going to do it. So it's fine. So since you went professional, then how has your training schedule changed, or is it just still full on?
It's always been full on, but like I've tightened up a lot of stuff. Like said, diet, diet has been tightened up a lot. I'm working with Tristan Kennedy, who's he's a top nutritionist, and he's after helping me out a lot. I'm working with him since last November, so he's after helping me put on a little bit of size. I'm working with, like say, a good strength and conditioning coach, Rob Flanagan. He's very good. And then like I have, like say, all my lads in the gym that kind of push me. So the way it would kind of look is a lot of drilling, a lot of hard rounds, training with Davern and Tom Halpin and Fionn and a few other black belts up in Dublin. So we're kind of doing the Polaris Squads thing together. So we're training 2 to 3 times a week. So training at the moment is intense. Like it's two sessions, maybe sometimes 3 sessions a day. Not all of them are hard sessions, so I could do like one heavy session, and then I might have to do like a weight session where it's just accessory work, and that could be that for the day, or it might be one heavy session of jiu-jitsu, and then it could be one like drilling session or something like that of jiu-jitsu. But it's six days a week maybe now. It used to be 7 days a week, but I've got a lot smarter with my like recovery and like obviously sleep and everything else, stretching and the whole lot. So it's fairly packed, especially along with trying to coach. And then outside of the gym, I try study a lot.
Right. So
I try watch a lot of jiu-jitsu. So if I'm in the gym, and maybe if I'm rolling with like say like a another black belt or someone or any belt, like and maybe I make a mistake or something, someone does something right, I try question that when I go home, like why, how did I get caught, how do I fix it, and then how can I put myself into that position the next day.
Do you think that like everybody has to watch jiu-jitsu who trains in it? There's only one answer that's going to help me here.
Yeah. The answer is yeah.
Okay, well I'm not doing it right. Do you know why? And look, it always sounds like I'm being disrespectful, I suppose, when I say this, because I know Martin watches a lot. Josh watches a lot. That's cool. Like, and I'm not being disrespectful, but I find it quite hard to do it.
Yeah.
I have my mind is flying everywhere. Yeah. I've got books here. I've got films here, and I'm like, I'd much prefer to be doing that. So, but I love jiu-jitsu. I love training it. I really enjoy it. But I want it to be enjoyable, if you know what I mean. Yeah,
I get that. Yeah, it should never be a chore. And if there is something that you'd prefer to do, like if you just say if you prefer to do, doing stuff to getting you better at podcasting or reading books or listening to music or whatever it is, I do that. And then like the coach, like at the end of the day, the coaches are going to be the ones that's going to be doing the research and giving you the information.
Exactly. Yeah.
But it depends on if you're doing jiu-jitsu, like say just as a hobby and for fun and for different reasons as well, and not trying to compete at the highest level or whatever else, then it's okay to kind of like it's like anything. The more you do it and the more you look at it and that, the better you're going to get.
Yeah.
You know, it's like if you showed up to jiu-jitsu 2 days a week and then there's another guy that shows up to jiu-jitsu 6 days a week, over a year, they're going to look different.
Yeah.
You know, normally if they start at the same time and everything else. So,
but for you, it's obviously...
For me, it's a must.
Yeah. Good for coaching as well as...
Yeah, coaching as well. Yeah, I watch a lot of like matches and fights, and I watch like say instructionals, and I watch like different breakdowns and everything else. And I try read a lot, and I try like that's just the jiu-jitsu and kind of grappling side of it. And like then I'd look at like say listen to a lot of like say podcasts on like say maybe like I suppose like the sports psychology side of it, and then I try like get as much information as I can from good strength and conditioning coaches. We've good strength and conditioning coaches in the gym. We've one guy that's starting was now fairly soon. His name's Shane Smith, and he's very good, and he's gonna be looking after our comp team, so he's gonna be doing a strength and conditioning program with the whole lot of them. So I try pick his brains, and like because he's a degree in sports science and so I try like learn from him. What's the best approach to this and that and whatever else. So I just try be for me. I just try be a student still. Do you know what I mean? It was like I was talking to someone actually recently about like when I was a purple belt, I thought I knew everything, and now that I'm a black belt, I realize I didn't know. I still don't know anything.
It's funny though because it's funny. It's like that thing where not me personally, but when the people moved into blue belts and I've spoken to them about it, and it's like I still don't know what I'm doing. Like they receive the blue belt and they think it's all going to change for them. It has changed. Yeah, but you don't. All of a sudden, like you were saying the day before, you get tapped. You move into that kind of different level.
It's a process. Yeah, it's hours on the mat. Yeah, and that's it. It's like the 10,000 hour rule. Yeah, it really is. Like you just have to keep showing up, clocking up, trust the process. Trust your team, trust your coaches, and that. And then eventually, if you keep showing up with a mindset, like a growth mindset, because a lot of people can just show up to jiu-jitsu to like maybe like smash or maybe just like
meet people, have a chat.
Yeah, but there's that side of it as well. Or just even just go down for photos or whatever. Whatever the different reasons is. This type of stuff. Photos, Instagram and this type of stuff. But if you're on about like improving your jiu-jitsu at a faster rate, it's hours on the mat, hours outside or off the mat. So that's watching jiu-jitsu, talking about jiu-jitsu, taking notes or whatever it might be, and then going to the gym with like the mindset that you're going to try and improve. So say yesterday if me and you were rolling and you sweep me from half guard, let's say twice or something, even once is good enough. So maybe
it seems unlikely.
Yeah, you never know. Could have an off day, but though let's say you swept me from like half guard and that, like what I should do is take a note of that. And then I go home and then I try like look at what I've done wrong, you know what I mean? Or maybe what you've done right, and then go put myself back into that position the next day with you and see, can I like maybe hold you off a little bit longer? Eventually can I shut that part of your game down or improve that kind of weakness in my game? And then the more you do that, it's kind of like it's like kind of like a little boat that like has loads of holes in it, and then there's water coming in, like, and you just plug one hole at a time, and hopefully the ship doesn't sink.
Hey, look, it's like you were saying about that. I talked to it about Martin. You get so good at something, one thing, even like whether it's a submission or whatever it is, or a pass, and even though the person knows it's coming, they still can't stop it. Yeah, that's the kind of idea, I suppose, that I'd love to kind of. I'm trying to work on one particular thing. You can't get it every roll, obviously, but when you do, you have to try and have patience. Yeah, and if you don't get it one day, you might get it the next day, and it's that idea of working through it. Do you think that people can get a little bit like too wrapped up in it, and then? I suppose my thought on the question when I was writing it really was like when I was in training and I was really training an awful lot at the time, I was kind of losing sight of my mental health a bit. So I let that kind of drift. Then I started beating myself up over the training, and then I had to kind of take 2 or 3 weeks where I had to move away from it for a while because my mental health was kind of suffering. Yeah. Do you think that can happen to people? And what would you say to someone if they came to you? Yeah,
the biggest, and 100% that can happen, and it comes down to like one word: balance. You need balance with everything. You need balance, like whether it's family time, relationships, jiu-jitsu, business and whatever else it might be. Like say, I obviously have a child and I have a fiance and that, so that's my family, and then I have like say my parents, my brothers and sisters and that. So I have to kind of like balance that along with like say being a coach in the gym, dealing with problems that people might have in the gym, and then like say the business side of trying to run a gym, and then trying to be an athlete and trying to be a competitor, and then just switching off. So I think the thing is, like, even though I love jiu-jitsu and I love coaching and everything that comes with it, and that, like probably maybe the last year or 2 years, I've got into like just like getting out and taking photos and kind of like making videos and that type of stuff. And for me, it's just something else. Like it's something different. I like to create, you know, for myself. Do you know what I mean? It's like jiu-jitsu, you like to create, you know, like the different leg lock entries or passes or whatever it might be. So I kind of get that same fix, but I get to be kind of like outdoors with maybe either on my own or with a friend or with like say my fiance or my kid or whatever else. So I think balance is a big thing. So like, and just having time for yourself, even just like meditation, even just sitting there and just not doing anything, you know, working on maybe your breath or working on like just you know, just sitting still and not having thoughts running to your brain or anything like that, like taking time off social media. You know, I think it's the small things that add up. So if you can kind of like take a step back from everything, get out to nature, get rid of your phone or whatever it is you want to do, go surfing or, you know, whatever you're into, maybe it's skateboarding or, you know, whatever, go do that. And then the answer will kind of come to you if you're on your own, or maybe if the answer doesn't come to you on your own, I'm sure there's that one, or, you know, that one person you can talk to that normally that kind of sparks something in you where you're kind of like, well, look, you've been doing too much of that. You're burning the candle at both ends. You know, so it's 100% normal. And like the thing that I would tell people is take a break. Do you know what I mean? But if you're going to take a break, it's kind of take a break for yourself. It's not just take a break and then just like eat McDonald's and pizza and that. Because now you're going deeper into the rabbit hole. You know,
I agree with you on that actually, because when I was struggling a bit, I would approach Martin. I think the thing about it, for my own self, I was the one who was telling myself I was getting bad and I was getting worse at jiu-jitsu. Now I'm talking. So, and I went to Martin and Martin was like, well, you're not, like, that's what you think, and maybe somebody's tapped you the day before, like we were talking about earlier. Go to the people who like yourself. Go to your coach, and even if it's just about jiu-jitsu, if you want to talk to your mental health about maybe one of your parents, whatever, that's fine. But you want to talk about your jiu-jitsu and you're beating yourself up, talk to your coach about it,
100% sure. That's what they're there for. You know, and the other thing is like what I've kind of learned over the years, it's all perception. You know, the way they view the world and everything else might be different to the way someone else views the world, and we're all different. And that's why you see, like, even at the moment, like say people have different opinions on, you know, different things that's going on in the world at the moment, and there's so much anger because like why are they not thinking like us? We're right, you're wrong, and that's on both sides and that type of stuff. But the thing is, we're all different. We've all different, you know, upbringings and that. We're probably not right about everything. But like the way you might like say in your head, you might think I'm not getting any better at jiu-jitsu. But here's the thing, your whole team is probably getting better at jiu-jitsu or should be getting better at jiu-jitsu. Like I still have those days like where I'm like literally I might have to like take a day off because like maybe I'm overtrained or I'm doing too much or whatever, and I'm like, oh, you know, I had such a hard role with this lad or that lad or whatever, I just don't feel. But if I take a day off and I take a little bit of time for myself and you know, get away from jiu-jitsu, then I come back even better, and I'm like, I'm on fire today. Do you know this type of stuff? And sometimes just a bit of like you time.
Look after yourself.
You know, look after yourself. You know, like and like because your brain can be like racing the whole time. You know, every day all the stuff that we have to do. You have to be at this place at that time, and you have to like you know, if you do certain things, and then you have social media, and then you have like text messages and emails, and you have everything going on. So your mind is just literally just like working at 100 miles an hour. So I think for me, it's very important for me to like, even in the mornings, what I do is I go into the gym before the class starts, maybe an hour before the class starts. And I just like, we have a separate room in the gym where we have mats and everything down. And I go in, I just stretch for an hour. But the stretching isn't necessarily just about my body, you know, about like me getting more flexible or anything like that. It's just me having just a bit of quiet time in a room. And just stretching, and it's even, you know, and sometimes I'll think about jiu-jitsu, or sometimes I'll just not think about anything.
Just relax.
Just stretch and just enjoy the process of just being on my own. And then eventually, like maybe 15 or 20 minutes before the class starts, one of the lads comes in, and then I found that I'm more approachable in that because I've had my own time.
Exactly,
you know, but look, everyone's different in that. And I suppose the big thing is being aware of it. You know, awareness is a big thing. You know, because a lot of people kind of like they feel that I'm not getting any better, everyone else is getting better. You know, but it's not necessarily the truth. You know, because it's funny. It's like especially like if you see like competitions, if you go to MMA fights or anything like that, and you see this, like everyone's nervous. But when you're there, you're looking at everyone else and you're going, why is no one else nervous? Why am I just nervous? Like Mike Tyson felt those same feelings. Anyone that's ever done it has felt those feelings. Like, you know, I've been lucky enough to corner at the UFC and corner at Bellator and that.
Yeah.
And I've like been in the dressing rooms with some of the top lads, like the names that you'd know, and they're nervous.
Yeah.
Everyone, like, do you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
so, but you look at other people and you're like, why are they not feeling the feelings that
Yeah.
I'm feeling? They're feeling those feelings because they're made up of the same stuff that you're made up of.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, and that's it. And just once you realize that, and you know, you kind of go, right, okay, it's normal to feel this way.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly. Yeah. I'm gonna just quickly cut across this and throw the ad for Fusion in there. And Fusion Training Centre, Monksland Athlone. A place to train in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, kickboxing, martial arts and CrossFit. A great atmosphere with experienced coaches and a real sense of community. If you want to join the team, find us on Facebook at Fusion Training Centre or drop in for a chat. Fusion Training Centre. Train like a warrior. Flawless. 4 times in a row I've been very good at it now. Right. So before I started in Jiu-Jitsu, I became aware of you through Ireland's Fittest Family.
All right.
Right? I hope this is all right.
No, you're grand, yeah.
Because I think it's a very interesting story because you did it 2 years in a row.
3 years in a row, yeah.
Was it 3 years in a row?
3 years
I
in a
must
row,
have missed the first year then. I don't know.
We did 1 year we had Kenneth Egan, and the next year was Davy Fitz, and the following year was Anna Gary.
You had 3 different coaches,
Three
yeah?
different coaches, yeah. They're all sound.
They see, well, actually, some people don't like Davy Fitz.
Davies.
Is he
Davies
alright?
yeah, me and Mike had some crack with Davy.
He's intense, I suppose.
He wasn't intense with us, do you know what I mean?
Oh, okay, right. On camera.
On camera, he's
Yeah.
you know, he's competitive.
Yeah.
Do you know, I'm sorry, no, I don't mean he wasn't intense with us. He was grand with us. He was just like one of the lads. We'd have the crack, we'd slag him. Do you know, he's just a normal person.
Yeah.
He's just a human at the end of the
Yeah.
day, but he's just competitive. He just wants to win. He wants to win everything. And
So did you enjoy, obviously you went back to it, so you must
Yeah.
have enjoyed it, the experience in general.
yeah, we enjoyed it. Yeah, they literally just got on to us during the week this week.
Oh, really?
And asked me and Michael, would we go up and test the course Friday.
Oh.
It was for the final of Ireland's Fittest Family was just filmed at the weekend.
Right.
And they wanted me and Mike to go up and test the course.
Okay.
And we didn't do it because I'm competing in 2 weeks' time over in the UK and that. But I'd definitely be up for doing that, with them again. And it's actually a funny story. You brought it up. My sister Nicole, who was on Ireland's Fittest Family, she has just finished a degree in Maynooth. She was doing like TV and media studies.
Really, yeah.
And she literally just started working with Ireland's Fittest Family a few weeks ago.
No way.
Yeah, so she's working with them.
And did she take up that course? Did that spark her interest?
That sparked her interest. Yeah,
Really?
she just loved the behind the scenes. Of, the way like you see directors and producers and everything else, and the whole the lights and the cameras and the bit of crack and that. It's a life less ordinary in that. So she's so goal driven. Like she knew what she wanted. She followed it. She did it, and then she pursued it, and then she obviously she got her degree in that. But then even when she came out of college, which was I suppose just last year or maybe the beginning of this year. No, she finished this year, and she basically hounded Davy Fitz, hounded the producers on RT, hounded everyone, his Skype calls, with all different people that were connected to Ireland's Fittest Family. And she's just so goal driven that she just chased after it, and she got what she wanted, and now she's working with them, and hopefully she has a few other bits and pieces to do as well. Yeah, but she seems happy. She's literally up in Bray at the moment. She was filming with them.
Good for her.
Weekend, yeah, so it was cool to see.
Yeah, and so the people who didn't see it was yourself.
It was me, my brother Michael, my dad, and my sister Nicole.
Yeah,
and 4 of us.
Seriously fit family, I would say.
Fit enough.
Yeah, no. To be fair now,
Yeah.
because it's a very interesting program because myself and my landlady Anne downstairs, we watched it, and we find it fascinating that you can find 4 people in one family. First of all, generational, that are that fit or that driven and things like that. So before Anne's Fittest Family, is there a competitive edge in there?
Yeah,
within the family,
with my family.
Yeah.
Even now, we've been asked to kind of go on it a couple of times, and we've been back and forth again. And we probably will do it again. I'd say we're going to give it one more crack. I'd say we probably will for the crack. Yeah,
yeah, deadly.
For the laugh, maybe because we've been asked and there's been different things thrown at us and that type of stuff. It's just because we've been so busy with competing in jiu-jitsu and things like that. So maybe I might take a few months out when some stage and do it again or whatever. But in my family at the moment, like I say, my mother trains jiu-jitsu. She trains CrossFit. My little sister, who's 17, she trains CrossFit. And my sister Sharon,
She's a
trains
beast,
CrossFit, and she's an animal.
Yeah, she
and
is.
she wasn't on it. So at the moment, what happens? Like our family's that competitive that at the moment, like Nicole and Sharon are arguing
Who's
about.
gonna-
Sharon's like, I'm going to do it. You're going to be working on it. Do you know this type? And
Hey.
Nicole's like, no, I'm doing it. Do you know this? And then we're like, right, we're going to have to do a race off, and we're going to have to do a competition and this. We're like,
It's tough. It's tough now because like, I follow Sharon on Instagram,
Yeah.
like, and I see how much she trains.
Oh, she's a beast, yeah.
I mean, and it's Michael who sets the
Michael does like the program and
Yeah.
that for the lads and that, yeah.
and they're rough. There's some of
he's
those.
tough enough, like so, but they compete at like a high enough level.
Yeah.
You know, they compete like Mike's a very good. Mike's a serious athlete. Like he competes at like a real like a advanced level. You know, at CrossFit, like in Ireland they call it RX. And Sharon's just got to that level now at the moment, and that, so they love it. They're passionate about it. Michael's actually a purple belt in jiu-jitsu under me, and he's a monster on the mat. He used to fight MMA as well. He was
I heard his strangle. Yeah, when he gets hold of your neck,
he's a wicked guillotine. A wicked guillotine. He's a good guard, and he's a good athlete, and that.
Yeah.
He's good. He's my family's very competitive.
Yeah.
Like say from even I've only realised how competitive my family is now that I've been around Jamie's family.
right?
Like
Yeah,
my
your
fiance's family, because they're like so laid back and
Right.
they're like nice and friendly to each other, and we're literally like fighting over food on the table.
Yeah.
Not fighting, but you know what I mean. We're competitive. Like me and Mike would be very competitive, but
Yeah.
I'm very grateful to have him, because like over the years he's pushed me on in certain areas, and I'm sure I pushed him on certain
Yeah.
areas, and I suppose the two of us is kind of like I suppose we've
What's the age gap actually between you two?
there's 2 or 3 years.
Right, so
maybe,
close.
like,
It's a good,
close
yeah,
enough. Yeah.
yeah.
So, but we've pushed each other over the years. Like we played sports together over the years, and we've always had kind of each other's backs growing up. You know what I mean? If we can, sorry for swearing, but if he
Everybody
was,
swears, is that right?
if he was in a fight and he needed me to back him up,
Yeah.
I'd be there, and then it'd be the same. Obviously not now, but when we were younger
Yeah.
kids, and I would still be there now.
Well, he'd be a tough guy to fight.
Yeah, he would.
Looking at Michael.
No, but you know when you're younger and that, like
Yeah.
the big brother, younger brother kind of stuff. But we've
And of course, your dad is like
my dad's
a giant of a man.
Yeah, my dad's a tank. He was the one that got us into martial arts.
Oh, was he? Yeah.
Yeah, so my dad has been like involved. My dad was like a really good athlete. Like he used to play a lot of soccer. He used to do karate, boxing.
Oh, okay.
He used to do like say athletics. He was very, very he was a good
All-rounder.
athlete. Yeah, he was a good all rounder.
Yeah.
And said he got myself and Michael into karate when I was 7 years of age in London, and then he brought us to a boxing gym when we were probably like 8 years of age. The boxing coach, his name was Clint McKenzie. He was a brother of Duke McKenzie.
All right.
Duke McKenzie was a famous professional boxer, and he's on the Sky Sports panel for boxing at the moment. So we got to train with them, and we were. My dad always pushed us into sports like soccer, athletics, the whole lot. So we're at from a very young age.
Was he was he on the sidelines giving it socks, like, or was he?
No, he was very good.
Yeah.
He like. You know, it's funny because we went away from it. We went away from sports, but we went away from like say martial arts when we moved to Ireland for a few years, and then we went back into it. But the seed was planted very young, because we used to see him like every evening after work. He'd work on a building site and that, and he'd get his gym bag. He'd throw his karate belt into it, or his boxing gloves, or it might be like his gym gear, and he'd head off to the gym. And that was just life to us. We used to see like my dad get his gym bag, and he'd head off to the gym in London. When we moved back to Ireland, it was the very same thing. He was get the gym bag, and then he'd head down to the gym, and we kind of seen that growing up. So I suppose there was a seed kind of planted when we were younger and that. And like my mother actually did karate while she was pregnant with me.
Did she?
Yeah.
Deadly.
Do you know, which is
Yeah.
so they're all into it.
Yeah.
And I suppose we kind of came back to, we were never pushed into it, but my parents always supported us in that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
They gave did that help? So in Aaron's Fittest family, that there must have been a very kind of deep trust between the four of you then, that you were all right. You know what I mean? It was like, because I know there's different tasks and stuff in it, and one person might have to do one thing and then the rest, but there was never a weak link. And I don't mean this bad about other families, because I'm not like, my family don't do it. They couldn't do it. But you always think that one person might be the one that's gonna be a bit off.
Yeah.
Whereas in your family, there didn't seem to be a weak link in it.
Yeah, there was a couple of different things. Like one, I suppose, like we knew our strengths. Like we'd turn around and we'd sit down before stuff, and we'd say, who's the fastest? Who's the strongest? Who's the best for this? Do you know what I mean? Or who's the heaviest? Who's the lightest?
Yeah.
So there was a lot of strategy that went behind it. So for us, it wasn't just like go. It was like the way they do Ireland's family is, you don't know, you get brought off to maybe Clare, or you could be down Galway, or you could be any part of the country, Dublin or anywhere like that, Bray, or any of these places. And the night before, you're put up in a hotel, they'll pay for your food and everything else, they'll look after you, but you've no clue of what course you're doing. So what we'd be doing is like trying to Google what's around the area and that. You know what I mean?
Course,
and sometimes it'd just be, you could be in Dublin Port and they'd just make up a course out of containers and cars and everything else. But there was some mad stuff that happened behind the scenes as well, which we'll probably get into as well. But like what we do is, they'd bring us down the next day, they'd do like a few interviews, this and that, what do you expect that's coming up, and blah blah blah, and this and that, and then they'd say, right, we're going to get you to walk the course.
Right.
So we'd walk the course with, like, say, our coach, which could be Davy Fitz, Kenneth Egan or Anna Geary, and we'd have one of the referees that would be there, Joe O'Connor, your man's name was.
I think he's gone now. Is he?
Yeah, he's gone now. He's a new lad. He was sound as well. But they'd get us to walk the course, and then they'd show us the stuff, and they'd be like, these are the rules, you can jump this, you can do whatever, you can't use your hands here, and so on, and so many family members have to be here, and whatever else. So we get to walk the course, and we kind of nudging each other, and we're like, oh, look at that there, look, we could jump in there, we could do this and that, and whatever. So then what we do is we'd sit down, the four of us, and we'd chat, and we'd say, look, Mike, you're probably the best for this, or Kieran, you're the best for this, and that we're gonna get you up first, or we're gonna get Nicole up first, and then me and Mike will get you up, and then me and Mike are kind of maybe athletic enough to get up ourselves. You know this, or whatever it might be. So we really bounced off each other and worked really well, and we're very competitive. Like, even though it was a TV show, like, for us it wasn't a TV show. We just wanted to win. Yeah. Like, we said stuff on some of the shows where, like, there was one time it was a hell and back course. I've done it a few times where, like, I've turned around and said, like, maybe we didn't do as, we might have finished second in a race. And then they'd turn around and say, oh, Davern's, such and such family reckon that they're going to beat you or whatever, blah, blah. And just me, the competitive side of me, would turn around and I'd say, well, on the next course, we're going to go out and we're going to smash the course record. Yeah. And then my dad would say, why'd you say that? You're putting us under pressure. But any time I put us under pressure, we went out and we smashed the course record. Yeah. Do you know, it was just like, because I'm a big believer in, like, saying it and then having to go out and doing it. It's that winner's mindset.
Yeah, you work well under pressure.
I work well under pressure, especially like if I'm like, well, I'm going to go out and I'm going to do this. And look, if it doesn't work, it adds entertainment and everything to the TV show. But to me, I wasn't even thinking that. It was like, it's the competitor in me. Do you know, like, it was kind of.
But you know what's interesting, Kieran, because when you say that, right, you're not just talking about yourself, then you're roping in the other three.
I'm bringing the family in,
But that's the trust that you had in them and their level to do it.
Yeah, I believed in every one of them, and I believe that we were honestly stronger as a team. You know, like, and we could bounce off each other and help each other, like, say, in different ways. You know, whether it was mindset or it was like strength or speed or whatever it might be. Do you know what I mean? And we trained well for it and that. But for us, it wasn't really a TV show. The funny story how we actually got into it was a lad got on to me, Alan Murphy, his name is. He runs an MMA website. He got on to me and he sent me a message and he said they're basically looking for, this is the series 1. They're looking for an MMA family type thing or whatever. I think your family would be great for it. So he sent me the link, and normally I just kind of be like, yeah, sure, I'll get around to it, whatever. So it was a short enough kind of process. Yeah. So then I just sent in my name, my family's name, and whatever else, and I sent it on. I didn't think anything of it. And then I heard something back, like, fairly quick, and I was like, I just had a feeling that we were going to get it. So I was like, I better tell the others.
Yeah. You that said nothing at all?
I didn't tell anything. I just sent it back.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And
if
then,
you came into, if I was your brother and you came into me and told you that, I'd be gone.
Oh, but Mike's more competitive than I am.
And so I'm not competitive at all. I really am. But
Mike's very competitive.
But what about your dad and
my
your
dad?
sister?
Was a funny story with my dad. Like, so basically, we all got an email saying, "Look, we're interested in talking to you. We want to do a fitness test. We want to sit down, and do an interview, and get to know you and see if you're the right fit type thing." And so my dad got an email, and the email was like, "There's a possibility you could be jumping out of planes. You could be like, pushing caravans, setting things on fire, and there was like water, and there was all like mad running through fire or something, like, because they had mad stuff planned in the beginning, and then obviously like they couldn't do it for a different reason. You want someone to get
health and safety just take over.
All that type of stuff. But it had some mad, like walking a tightrope and all this type of stuff. And my dad was like, "I'm not. Do you know what? What you have to sign this up for or whatever?" And I was like, "Look, let's just go do the interview, do the fitness test, and go from there." And then I knew when we did the fitness test and we did the interview, I was like, I just had a good feeling, because it was, you can just feel it. You can just feel the energy. It was positive and that. And we the first year we did it, we literally just we nearly won the final. I don't know if you remember the first year. It was like we the three of us were on top of a ramp and we were winning it, and then my dad couldn't get up on the ramp because they wet the ramp beforehand.
Yeah.
And then, like, he just kept slipping and we were trying to catch him. And then the other family, like, didn't have anyone up on the ramp or maybe they had one and we had 3 or something like that. And we literally, we just had it one.
Yeah.
And then, but that, I think us not winning it and then people seeing that, they kind of related with, like, you know, they were able to relate with us. It was kind of like,
yeah, I think you were favourites, considered favourites
to win it, yeah.
And
but we were just a family from Offaly, just doing our thing, and that there was, you know, families from all around the country and that, and we were just we were so competitive. Like, we literally, they'd put the camera in front of us and we just say, well, we're going to go out and win this event, blah, blah. And that's it. Because we were, you know, there's no point thinking small when you can think big.
Yeah. And you should, like, I mean, it's so unlucky not to win at the time where, was it Nicole slipped?
Nicole, yeah, she got broke up under the, we had to push, what did we push? Kind of like a big, massive trolley thing.
Yeah,
heavy. It was like 200 kilos or something. And that one was just like, that was the last one. That was heartbreaking.
Yeah, that was hard.
That was heartbreaking. And she got, like, she was fairly broke up after that.
I'd say so, yeah.
Yeah. But,
and now she's gone to work for them.
Now she's gone to work for them. But look, everything happens for a reason. Maybe we wouldn't have been on 3 times, or maybe we wouldn't have been on it 3 times if those different things that happened. I suppose that we kind of, people kind of felt sorry for us, you know, in a way. You know, so, but it is what it is. It was, for us, it was a bit of crack. It was a competition. We wanted to win it. And like, that wasn't filmed live. So, like, even though there's cameras not put in your face, we weren't really thinking about the TV part.
Yeah.
You know, it was just about, like, let's win today's race.
Yeah.
And it was a bit of crack. Like, when do you ever in your life, like, when you get to a certain age, get to spend a bit of time, like, with your family?
Family, yeah, that's
You know,
true.
we were, like, literally in a hotel the night before. Like, I have a kid now, and, you know, all the rest of my family have different responsibilities and live in different parts of, you know, the county and the country and everything else. So when do you get a chance to, like, to do something like that?
It's true, yeah.
You know,
I mean, people forget about that part.
Yeah, it was just a family that, like, are like, really enjoy fitness.
Yeah.
Are really, really competitive, and we were able to come together. And the thing is, like, our reserves now at the moment are, like, as strong as the team that we have. So if we did go back, the likes of Sharon's there and everything else, and, you know, we could cause some problems.
It's pretty crazy to think that you've got, like, a couple of extra in the background. Like,
yeah, we've had been some mad stories. Even, like, there was one time, even on Ireland Six Family, we were doing it was the first year. It was up in Dublin Port, and we had to push, like, a load of BMWs. It might have been the final actually. We had to push 7 Series BMWs out of containers. And my little sister was in the front and 3 was in the, pushing from the back. And what happens was, like, they were like, you know, cameras are there, they lit a load of smoke and fire and everything for effects and that. And we had to basically push this so far, and we had to run and do different obstacle courses. But there was like 3, 2, 1, go. And then we were pushing as hard as we could, and the car wouldn't move. And the other family were like a couple of 100 meters ahead of us. The production company left the handbrake on.
Oh, come on.
On the thing. So what they did was, like, we were just like, what is going on?
Yeah.
You know? I mean, we couldn't move the car.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And so, cut long story short, we had to do the race. We had to do the race on our own to kind of make it fair, or as much as they did, you know, on their own.
Because
they did a quarter of the race or whatever, half the race, or whatever they did. So we had to go out and we had to do it fairly fast and whatever else, and then we had the same recovery time, and then we had to repeat it.
Oh God.
Yeah. So there's a few mad stories that happened.
A few hiccups along the way, wasn't there?
Yeah, but sure, that's just it. It's life, isn't it? You know, but it was a bit of crack in it, and it makes it interesting and adds a bit of drama and that.
For sure, yeah. I think, like, actually, speaking of competing, so I'm gonna talk a bit about Polaris. So that you're training for that, which is 2 weeks time, is it?
2 weeks time, yeah.
Is this the first time that they've had a team dynamic?
Yeah, so it's they have a new kind of series called Polaris Squads. So it's Ireland and the UK versus Team Europe. Right. And it's basically like 4. My team is 4 under 75 kilo lads, and then 4 under 95 kilo lads, and then it's the same on the European team. So like I have the 7 other lads out on my team are like super high level.
How were the teams picked actually? How was?
It's invitation.
Okay, right. Yeah, and you've been in Polaris.
I've been on Polaris a few times, So so it was really nice to get, like, they picked 3 lads from Ireland. It was me, Darragh O'Connell, and Tom Halpin. So
nice.
Like, it was nice to be invited from.
Sure.
You know, just to be one of the 3 invitations from Ireland, and then the 5 are from the UK. But our team is, like, super strong. We've a bunch of killers, like, so. Hopefully, like, I get a couple of matches and 1 or 2 of the lads just don't go on, like, an absolute killing streak, you know.
Do you know, so you don't know who you're fighting yet?
No, I don't know. I know who's on the other team. Like, there's some, like, the European team is, like, just as strong. There's killers on that as well. Like, you've European champions and world champions. You've ex-UFC fighters like Marcin Heldas on it, and there's a few other lads. Yeah, there's some killers on it. You've some leg lock experts on it, and then you've some all different dynamics and different styles and that type of stuff.
You're quite fond of a leg lock yourself, though.
Yeah, I like a leg lock or two.
A heel hook here and there.
Yeah, but no, it's basically what's going to happen is before the show we have to pick who's going first.
Okay.
And the other team will do the same, and then it's like a winner stays on type thing.
Oh, okay.
If I'm on and there isn't a submission, then the two of us are off.
And how many minutes is that then?
So it's a 40-minute half broke up into 5-minute matches.
Right.
Normally Polaris is 10-minute matches, so it's going to be 40-minute half broke up into 5-minute matches, and then I think in between the break there's going to be the super fight which is Fionn Davis. She's going to be competing, and then there's another 40-minute half then with 5-minute matches. So hopefully I get a few matches and get to go at. So they're short, nice and fast. And so it should be an exciting night, hopefully with a few submissions.
Yeah, a few wins. And listen, do you feel any extra pressure that it's a team rather than just yourself?
I feel less pressure.
Really?
Yeah, 'cause at least I can hide behind everyone else.
That is a good. I didn't think of that. Yeah, that's good.
No, do you know what? Like, don't get me wrong. Like, because the more I compete, the more I understand the mindset and everything else. I do this because I love it. Do you know what I mean? And obviously there's different benefits, like say it promotes myself in the gym and everything else and that type of stuff. But I enjoy it. Like, the only thing that I focus on is what I can control.
Yeah.
You know, that's my diet, my recovery, you know, my sleep, strength conditioning, my training, everything else. I know that, like, me doing what I'm doing, I'm going to perform on the night. I can't control the result. I can't control if I win or lose. But I know that I'm going to go out, I'm going to attack, and I'm going to look for the finish. And regardless of what happens, you're going to see me in an exciting match or matches. You know, and I'm coming to the finish, and I'm coming to win.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm not going in with a mindset that like I'm just there to take part. I'm going in to win, but I know that that's out of my control for different reasons, whether it's judges or it's or whatever it might be. Do you know what I mean? Maybe you zigged when you should have zagged or whatever. And at that level, there's very little room for error.
Oh, I'd say so, yeah.
Oh, yeah, like literally, like it is a game. It's a game of millimeters at that level. Do you know what I mean? But like extra pressure. Just if anything, I feel like kind of less pressure.
Right, that's great though.
Yeah, I feel like there's always going to be a bit of pressure there to do well, and you want to do well in that. But I feel that like I'm just grateful to be able to compete with everything that's going on at the moment.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I had a good year planned. I had some good stuff lined up, as in competitions like say around Europe and that type of stuff. Obviously that's fell through for a few different reasons. Yeah. But I'm just grateful to compete and grateful to be able to compete on UFC Fight Pass and do this type of stuff and and sure, look, it's
so that's where people can see it, is it?
Yeah, it's going to be on UFC Fight Pass on September 27th.
Brilliant.
So we're flying over to the UK and competing and hopefully take a few scalps and our team gets the win.
I was going to ask you this question, and I suppose after talking to you for the last hour, say, I'm kind of getting the answers, like, but it's like what motivates you before a match, and like it's the internal and external factors, and I suppose I can tell the internal is just your drive, your competitive drive that you've seemed to have always had, like since you started sport. But like external factors then.
External factors, like one big reason is like, time is going to pass anyway, and I know that I'm not going to be able to compete at this level forever. And I want, like, say when people look back on what I've done, whether it's through just me being a person, or me being a competitor or whatever, I want people to say, he gave it 100%. He competed at the highest level. He won this and that and whatever else. And even not just for people, even for myself, like when it's all said and done, like, what do you leave behind? Yeah. Like, am I just floating from week to week, or am I trying to chase something bigger? Yeah. And that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to chase something bigger. I'm trying to raise the bar for myself, for the lads in the gym, and like for my lads to go beyond and smash, the goals and the things that I've achieved. And I know they will. I know by like the level that they're at the moment and that type of stuff. So it's basically just raising the bar. Yeah. And then and even from a coaching side of things, like to be able to say, well, he's done it. Yeah. You know what I mean? He's done it. He knows what he's talking about and everything else. And just the more I do this and the more I compete the higher level, and the more knowledge I gain, and the more I learn about myself. So there's a load of different reasons. Yeah. Like, I don't want to look back in 20 years time and turn around and say I could have been, or I should have been, or if I had have. Now's the time. So I'm just putting in the work. I'm putting myself out there. And I'm just gonna kind of keep going till the wheels fall off. Yeah. Well, look, hey, mine fell off a while ago. Do you ever get that feeling like when you're just completely broke up and you're like, oh my god, I wish all these things would just go away for a little while? Yeah, the whole time. But even if you're thinking, like, even if it's not for training, you're like, oh. But listen, we're just gonna go into our second advert. First time ever doing a second advert, which is historical. Yep. If you are someone who enjoys photography, 3D animation,
gaming, or graphic design and have a genuine interest in the media industry, why not check out a creative media course at motebusinesscollege.com today. Place is still available. I'll get better at that. The today was delayed. I don't know what I was doing with that part, but yeah. Actually, to be honest, if that course was around when I was a young man, I probably would have done it. It sounds pretty cool. Definitely, there wasn't courses like that over remote.
Photography, is it? Yeah.
Yeah, photography, 3D animation.
Class.
Yeah,
I was only talking to someone this morning about Shane Smith, one of the lads trends in the gym, where I was only talking about like I'd love to do like some type of photography course or something like that. You know.
You took a deadly photo. I don't know when it was. Maybe Saturday. And was it the lights of your car?
Oh yeah,
Do you know that one?
Yeah,
that you
yeah,
put
I
up
did
on
that one.
Instagram?
Yeah, I did it up in the. I did it up in the Sleeve Blue Mountains.
Oh, look, it was
yeah, I
great.
was kind of doing like say sunset shots, and then I got a cool one of the car. And
yeah, really nice.
Yeah, look, I enjoy it. You know,
Yeah.
I like just like taking a snap and then just getting that kind of. I'm definitely not a professional photographer or anything like that, but I just like the whole creating something.
Yeah, well, Sharon does it too, doesn't she?
Sharon does it as well, and there's a few other lads that have got into it in the gym, like Dean Malloy, that's one of the purple belts in the gym. He coaches. He's a friend of mine as well. Like he's some good pictures as well, and you know, there's Sharon and there's Shane Smith. And there's a few people that have like got into it in the gym.
Yeah, it's nice.
And just I think even not just the gym, but people in general.
Yeah.
You know, and it's nice to be able to, like, I remember Colin Byrne, that he owns a Shinobi Academy out in Portugal. He was saying, like, don't always consume, like, create.
Sure.
And those words kind of just, like, resonated with me. It's kind of like, you know, instead of, like, consuming, you know,
looking, taking it all in. And
it all in, like, make something, put something out there. Maybe it's just something as simple as a nice picture, and it doesn't have to... It doesn't have to change someone's whole view on the world or something, but it just might be better than the content that they're looking, like the negativity and everything that's going on.
For
today.
sure.
You know what I mean? So
just a little bit of beauty is always nice.
That's all
like,
it is. You know what I mean? And then maybe it might even light a spark or inspire someone to go out and then take photos themselves on a Saturday night or
exactly.
Else,
yeah,
you know, so.
I think it's a lovely tie-in actually. And our next guest is actually a photographer. She has her own business, and so that's beautifully tied in there.
Yeah, perfect.
Without even thinking about it, skill. That was your.
Yeah,
actually linking it up there. I'm not going to take the credit for that.
You take the credit.
So maybe I'll edit this bit out and take the credit. So listen, when did you open SPG then?
I opened in August 4th, 2012.
All right. It's a while ago.
And it was I opened up as Evolution Mixed Martial Arts.
Okay.
That was the name, and I was obviously training with John at the time, John Kavanagh, and a few weeks, maybe a couple of years went by, and then John kind of suggested that maybe we'd add the 3 letters to our name, and so we end up changing to SPG Evolution, and that was the name for ages.
Right.
And then so then we obviously like affiliated the fitness side of things to CrossFit, so that was CrossFit Tullamore, and then the gym kind of was nearly like triple branding, like as in it was like I had like Evolution Gym Tullamore. And then it was like home of Evolution MMA and CrossFit Tullamore. Yeah. And I was like, this is too much.
Yeah.
So I was like, what John actually said in the beginning about, like, said, you know, the whole SPG thing, like just do SPG and then the location. Yeah. And I was like, I want to kind of keep my own little thing and whatever. But then the more I thought of it, then it was just easier to have SPG Tullamore, home of CrossFit Tullamore. Yeah. You know, and that was it. But the Evolution thing, that was 2012, and I just liked the name and just went with it, and that was it.
Yeah, and I suppose you've already kind of talked about the leap, the kind of leap when you went in and asked for help with Enterprise Ireland, wasn't it? You asked for a loan, and then like, what were the first couple of years like when in regards to kind of recruiting members and stuff like that? Yeah, like say there was, you know, the big thing for me, and I say this to people that are starting anything, whether it's like if you're coaching or you're, you know, if you're, whether it's, you know, whatever it might be, so you're trying to pursue something new, whether it's a podcast or whatever else, like just stick to it. Like there were some Friday evenings there where I'd come into the gym and there'd be one person in the class, and I've seen this over the years. I've had different like instructors in, like maybe subletting, like say mat space office, doing different things, not martial arts, might be yoga or something like that or whatever. And like say one person or two people might show up to the class, and I've seen people that wouldn't teach the class. But the difference with me was I'd literally say my attitude was, right, sir, you know, Johnny, you're here, it's Friday evening, sir, there's no one else here, but you're lucky we get to do a private. Yeah, it's true. That's great. And to be honest though, treat it like it's still a class, because I've
I
been
did.
there.
I
I've been
just
there
kept
with
showing
Martin.
up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've been there with Martin. Like we started doing the daytime classes a couple of years ago, and I might be the only person there at 12:30. Like, but Martin treated it as a class. He ran through everything we were supposed to do, and then we
And now
rolled.
his numbers in the class because he stuck to it, and then because people know that like right that'll turn to 2 and it'll turn to 3 and 4 and so on, and people know that like on a Tuesday morning at 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock, whatever the time might be, there's jiu-jitsu in that location or kickboxing in that location. So whereas like on a Tuesday morning you're like, oh, that coach might not be there this morning because sometimes he's there, sometimes he's not.
Yeah.
You know, maybe the coach went down and there was no one there and the coach just decided to head home, but the other maybe another person was traveling to the gym and they were 5 or 10 minutes late, which is normal. You know, life gets in the way and the gym was closed, so they're not going to come back the next Tuesday.
No.
You know, or they're going to be, oh, he's too unreliable. So I think that was the biggest difference with me. It was like there was classes there in the beginning, like especially at the weekends and that, and they were quieter, and you know, I just kept showing up. But then I was very lucky in another way that like I had a good route or a good core group of lads. Like Martin was there. Martin was training with us in the beginning. There was Sid Allen, you know, lads that came from Athlone. I had some lads that are still, loads of lads that are still with me today. They're purple belts and brown belts now. I like Dean Malloy, Enda Rigney, my brother Michael. There was like so many different, Mark Doyle, you know, so many different people that I'm kind of like even forgetting at the moment. But they've literally been with me from the first class and are still with me now. So I had a good group of lads. Didn't have much money, like say as in like running the gym. Like I ran it like probably like not the best way. It was kind of like I'd get €7 off people and I'd be walking around like a ball of fivers.
Right, yeah.
And I'd be gone then in the evening. I'd be buying coffee and diesel and, you know, heading up to Dublin training and whatever else. But then like I did like little courses in the gym. Like I'd run like a kettlebell course or a fitness course. I did a few different courses myself for like to do kettlebell instructors or instructors course and that type of stuff. So I do little courses in the gym, and then I might make like 250 or 300 quid off it. And I was delighted. So then what I do is, this has always been my mindset in the gym, and it still is today. I'd get that 300 quid and I drive up to like D8 Fitness in Dublin and I buy a load of kettlebells.
Yeah.
And the kettlebells that I bought out of that 300 quid, I still have them in the gym. They're pink and blue kettlebells, and I still have them. I still go on about them. And then like I'd get like an extra 100 quid or 200 quid because someone might pay me for, you know, a month's membership, or I might get 2 months membership at once. And then I go off and I buy a few pull-up bars. Yeah. Or then I buy a boxing bag and whatever. And then eventually, like say we ran different events and that, and I was able to like change the mats, buy a cage. You know, we built a rock climbing wall recently.
I was just going to say about the rock climbing wall.
Yeah, and like even I have more plans now at the moment. I'm building a sauna and a cold tub. And,
really?
Yeah, and there's like new boxing bags and a few different things that I'm.
Did you hear that, Martin?
Yeah. But even like say having
what's the wall like? I mean,
the rock climbing wall.
Yeah, are people like mad to get on it? And
yeah, they're all in climbing away before training and that. Yeah, it's cool little like thing. Like say you basically like I have a pair of rock climbing shoes. I bought them, got them for like 60 or 70 quid or something. So I'd go in sometimes in the morning before jiu-jitsu, and I'd like just climb the wall for like an hour or half an hour, you know, just to kind of warm up and build a bit of grip strength and that. Sometimes at the weekends then I go in, put on a bit of music, no jiu-jitsu, and I just climb the wall. And then like there's only so many times you can climb the wall before your forearms and your grip strength gets tired. So if you're with someone else, it's actually fun because you're kind of figuring out routes, and you know, we're all beginners at it, and you know, we enjoy it, and you know, there's a lot of crossover between that and jiu-jitsu and MMA and everything else. But
good crack.
It's just a different feature in the gym, you know. Exactly, and it's the social aspect. Like I see some of the kickboxers even before the class, they're just sitting down or just like climbing and chatting, and like, can you touch that one? Can you climb to this one? So it's just.
But you know what different. It is as well, Kieran. It's a thing that gets people talking. It's a feature that's not around in other gyms.
Yeah, exactly. You know? Yeah. And for me, what I'm really trying to do in the gym, right? Like this is kind of like the secret. I'm basically trying to build like my own personal man cave. So where I can have everything under one roof. Where I can
makes sense.
Train jiu-jitsu, climb the wall, hit some pads, jump into a sauna, get a cold tub, cycle the bike from the gym if I want, run from the gym, meet a few friends, have a bit of crack. You know, I mean, we've UFC Fight Pass up on the on the telly and that in the gym and that type of stuff. So there's all that. Like the gym literally for me like is like it's kind of like my. You know, it's my place. It's my getaway in a sense. Like, you know what I mean? I get to train there at the weekends. I get to train every night with my lads and that type of stuff. Like I really do. I enjoy it. Like I do it for free. I did it for free, and now I'm very lucky that like I'm able to, you know, make a decent living and be able to, you know, pursue the goals that I want to pursue, as in coaching in different places and you know like competing and everything else. So I'm very lucky it's done that for me. But it goes back to the different reasons, or the small reasons we're on about, like doing the small things right. Do you know what I mean? Showing up on the days that other coaches might not show up, or doing the class with one or two people in, or reinvesting back in the gym. Even at the moment, there's a guy that he's one of my purple belts, Marcel. He's very good. He owns a company in Tullamore called Stick It, and they do like tinted windows and graphic designs, and they do all the banners and everything else in the gym. Like, I have his heart broke every week. Now, like, give him a load of business and everything else, but I'm always on to him about the next project. Like, we're trying to change the canvas now on the floor in the cage. We're trying to, we're getting like a big, massive, like, say, banner done in the new rock climbing area, and that type of stuff. But I'm always trying to add to it. Yeah. Do you know? And it's just, I don't know what it is. It's just I don't know. It goes back to that growth mindset. I just maybe it's the competitor inside me. I just want the gym to be as good as possible,
the best it can be. Yeah,
the best it can be, and that's it. You know what I mean? And for people to get as much as they can out of like their membership and their time in the gym. You know, so it's not just like a martial art gym. It's I know you kind of hear it, it's the community, and everything else. You know, so
I go into fusion on a Monday or a Friday, right? I'll be hanging around from about 9 till about 6 because I just like being in there,
and there's good people, similar minded people, and
like Martin's probably like, oh god, but like I go in and I do I'll do 2 sessions of CrossFit, and then I'll do jiu-jitsu, then I have a couple of hours, and then I do the kids classes, and then by that time it's over, it's like 6 o'clock. But for me, like, that's a great day, you know,
great day, and it's great to be around that. Like, some of my best friends are the people that I train with every day. You know, like we all have the crack, we slag each other, and then like we like try to kill each other when we're training hard, and but then we'd all support each other, like, say, in different things, you know, whether someone's injured or someone's competing for an event or whatever. So there's a lot of that. It's like there's a great book, it's called Tribe. Have you read that?
No, but I know it.
Great book. It's one of my favorites. You'll hear me say that a lot. I have a lot of favorite books, but that's all right. That's one of them anyway. But like, basically the whole thing is about people being tribal, you know, and about like being a part of a tribe, and I think that's what, like, for example, like jiu-jitsu or MMA or kickboxing or whatever, that's what that does. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're a part of a tribe. It's your tribe. It's like when you put on the Fusion hoodie or an SPG Tullamore hoodie or whatever it might be, Team Rhino hoodie, that's your tribe. Yeah. That's your crest. You know, that's who you're cheering for. And we all want to be a part of it, whether like we're in a gym or not. Like, even you, as simple as soccer teams. It's like, I'm a Liverpool supporter. That's my tribe. I'm a Man United supporter, or, you know, so on. And, GA is another one. You know, you see like mammies and daddies and that on a Sunday morning or a Saturday, wherever, they head to the GA matches and throw on their local jersey or colours, jackets or whatever, and their colours, and that's it. Crow Park is full of like different colours, like when, you know, All Ireland final day and that type of stuff. That's your tribe, and that's why you get behind them. You know, and it's important to have that, and then that I think that ties in a lot with mental health.
For sure.
Like who is your tribe? You know, what is your thing? You know, or what's your passion? What's your why? You know, it's a big thing. Maybe you are a bit of maybe some people are like kind of they like to, you know, they're kind of loners in a sense that they like to do their own thing. Like, maybe people just like going out taking photography on their own. But at the end of the day, like, a lot of them like identify as, I'm a photographer. We're photographers.
It's
you know,
true,
that type of thing. So I think like being a part of a tribe is like very important, especially for mental health.
Oh, for sure, I agree. You know what I mean? Do you like speaking of tribes, and I suppose when you're doing it, you're kind of walking into other people's tribes, but do you enjoy the seminars?
Yeah, I love seminars. I you know what, I love seminars, and I'm delighted. I'm back teaching a couple of seminars now as well. I've a few.
You were in Iceland recently.
I was in Iceland recently, and I'm now teaching at the Zen camp in Poland with BJJ Globetrotters in 2 weeks' time, and then I'm teaching up in SVG Ballina, and Martin's got onto me as well, and a few different seminars coming up. So I'm delighted that they're coming back. And the reason that I love seminars is, I get to train with my lads every day, and I get to, you know, they kind of understand my style and that type of stuff. And I do get this when I show like new techniques or different, like maybe different details, like from my own lads. But when I go somewhere else and someone doesn't train with me the whole time, I get to see the spark in their eye of seeing something new. It's like, oh, that's class, or, you know, I never knew that was there, or do you know what I mean? Or someone might say to me in a few months' time, do you remember that guard pass? You remember that back take? Or you remember, you know, that leg lock, or whatever it might be, that thing you showed me, that won me my match in the Irish Open, or I'm hitting that the whole time, or I caught such and such, or that won me an MMA fight, or whatever. So I love that. I genuinely love helping people. So I think that's where the coaching kind of the coaching side of it comes in a lot, or that's why I enjoy coaching so much. But seminars, I love them. Like, even as the toughest part, this is the truth, I'm going to say this while we're on the podcast, right? The toughest part of a seminar for any black belt that teaches a seminar is the end, where you have like these purple belts or brown belts that are mad to kill you, right? For the simple reason that you're probably training in a cold, you're probably coaching in a cold gym the last 2 or 3 hours, and then you have like, say, 10 or 15 purple belts or big athletic blue belts or brown belts that are mad to kill you. Like, you've literally been gone from teaching to competition mode. And I've seen a thing like recently where like, and that's not hard, I embraced that because I'm still a competitor and everything else, but that's probably the toughest part of the seminar. I've seen Kieran Cornelius recently said something like, if you're going to roll with me at a seminar, you have to stay rolling, right? Because what you'd see like at some seminars is basically like, I'm gonna sit it out and I'm going to take this round out, then I'm going to roll with such and I'm going to kill him. Yeah,
you're waiting and you're reserving energy.
You're reserving energy, where it's like, right, let's do it. If we're going to roll, let's do it as a session. You know what I mean? And then for me, when I do kind of roll at seminars, like, you get to lead the pace of the dance. So if you want to roll nice and light and we can learn,
we can do that.
We can go light. But if you want to go to the day, we can go to the day.
I think, I was at your last seminar in Fusion, and we were doing backtakes from Turtle, and I had seen a couple of them, but a couple of them were like, when you immediately see something you haven't seen before, you're like, well, I can't do that. But you can. Like, you just have to take it nice
break
and
down step by step.
Nice and slow. And I was happy to be there because my mate Josh got a blue belt that night. And I'm not aiming this. I'm not talking about anybody in particular. I'm talking about this, right? But first of all, I'll tell you this bit. A really interesting bit that you told us before the Ironman part. You said that nobody here. This is a celebration of the two lads. It was Jake and Josh. It was a celebration of the two lads getting their belts, their new belts. If you come out and try and kill them, and you do, you're not going to get their belt. It's not supposed to be an absolute
It's not about you, it's about them.
Exactly. I think people took up on it, and which is great, like, because nobody did do anything silly. But if you were to give advice to somebody, and again, I'm not talking about anyone in particular, but if you give advice to someone who's going for their blue belt, maybe the next time I see it, I don't mean I mean they see it.
They see it.
What would you say if that person was quite an anxious person who didn't like being in front of a group of people, being the focus of a group of people more than anything else? And maybe when they're rolling competitively with somebody, they tend to freeze up a bit if their coach is watching. Do you know, it's like everything gets scrambled in the head. Do you know that?
100%. Yeah, and that's common. And that's the first thing to recognize is, like, it's normal, it's common. Like, everyone's different. And I've lads in my gym like that as well. Like, there's two different types of people. You've people that like shine under the lights and love people watching them. And then you have people that love going to watch those people fight or perform. There's performers and there's people that like to watch perform.
For sure,
And the thing that I would say is, it goes back to what you were saying. It's the reason that we're putting you out in the middle is it's not a test. Like, I've probably watched you during the seminar, and your coaches probably tipped me off in the beginning that this lad, that lad, and whatever. I'm fairly sure about him, but can you have a look at him? And basically what the coach wants on the day, from, say, the likes of me going to do a seminar and to do a grading, is basically like, can you give me an unbiased opinion, like on like where he's at, where he's strong, where he's weak, and from what you can see in that time. Like, obviously when you go to a seminar, you're teaching at a seminar, I only get to spend 3 or 4 hours with people. Of course. It's your coach that gets to spend like a few hours a day with you. So normally I get like the backstory from that, and then I'll get to, and you can tell a lot. Like, the longer you've been coaching and doing jiu-jitsu, you can tell by the way, not necessarily what people are doing, but the way they're moving. Like, do they move smooth? Is there clunkiness in their movement? Like, when they move from A to B, are they like hopping and giving space, or are they kind of sliding? Do you know what I mean? And that. So the thing I would say is basically, it's a celebration. It's not a test. Relax, enjoy it. You're getting your blue belt. Do you know what I mean? And if it was a test, like, I've done tests in my gyms where it hasn't been an Ironman.
Right.
It's basically started off, and this is, I've done a few different ways of doing like blue belt tests. One was, I'd put up a syllabus in the page, and I'd say, look, this is what you need to know, right? So, and I put all the positions, and like, it could be, say, for example, you need to know triangle armbar, kimura, guillotine from close guard, and then it could be like, say, these are the techniques I want you to know from standing, and so on. And then, like, it's not necessarily that, like, you might be able to do it, but like, is there a clunkiness in your movement? Or you do it smooth? And then there's different things like getting a blue belt, like, or any belt in jiu-jitsu. There's a lot of things that come into factor. Like, say, one is like, how good of a training partner are you?
Yeah.
How many people do you injure week to week? Do you know what I mean? Are you like drilling in the corner? Are you drilling like arm bars in the corner when your coach is trying to show you how to do a takedown? You know, are you just like, you know, are you a part of the tribe? Are you trying to like you know, when someone does well on the team, are you congratulating them? Are you building them up? Or are you trying to tear people down? You know, so for me, it's not just technique. There's a few different things. It's like, right, okay, he or she is ready for blue belt or ready for purple belt. Now there is the technical side of it as well.
Oh, of course,
You know, like the whole thing with the blue belt, I think that is that you should be able to control or handle like any kind of untrained person, similar weight, similar type of age, or you know, like similar kind of athleticism and everything else. Like the purple belt like is basically like where you should start kind of like developing your own style, and it's kind of like developing like a good open guard passing, good open guard attacks, and it's the next level. The blue belt is, the blue belt for me is the intermediate belt, and the purple belt is the advanced belt, and then your brown and black is your expert belt, and that's the way I kind of look at it.
I think that you know, as someone who's kind of rolled with someone up as far as brown belt would say, so the white to blue is definitely not as big as jump from blue to purple.
Blue to purple is a big jump.
Yeah, it seems massive jump.
Blue to purple is a big jump. Like, say if you're a solid purple belt, you're going to start giving some black belts some problems. Yeah. And like, look, there's obviously levels to all belts. Like say for example, I have one young lad, or a couple of young lads in the gym that are purple belts. Like, say for example, I have a Jack Dolan, he's 2021, and then Tyke Phelan, who's similar age. So just their two purple belts that are in around 20-21 years of age. And like, say for example, I might have like a 50-year-old purple belt, and like the two of them, I don't expect the 50-year-old and 20-year-old to be the exact same. Yeah. Like, the two lads are trying to pursue like jiu-jitsu as a career or MMA as a career and whatever else, whereas like the 50-year-old is on the mat and like they're doing their thing, they're training away, and can give, and by no means won't like lie down for them or anything like that. But it's different. You have a different. Sometimes you have a different engine. You have a different tank, different mindset, different priorities,
different desire, and
probably have 3 or 4 kids at home that you just want to get out of the house and you just want to relax. But then a big thing is, and a lot of and I'm just at like a an age or a stage in my life where I've kind of like I've kind of, you see the difference with, like, say, the younger lads on the mat and then the older lads. I love having older lads on the mat because they're just like it's very hard to put kind of like into one word, but just like they're just great to have on the mat. They're just like great role models, just like good men to look up to. Yeah. I've, like, say for example, I have the likes of like 2 brown belts there, like Kieran O'Donnell that I've trained with in the beginning, and Sid Allen, who's he's from Athlone as well, and then I've like the likes of John Nash, who's a purple belt, and there's loads of old lads that have been around a while, and they're just like, I don't know, they just talk to the younger lads different. They could just say a couple of words where they could like build the young lad up when they're having a bad day. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're just great to have on the mat. Like, and
setting examples as well, isn't it? Like, it's about really.
Setting examples is probably the best thing, or the best way of explaining it. But just very grateful to have those types of lads on the mat, and have all shapes and sizes and different ages, and different body types and different backgrounds on the mat. That's the beauty about jiu-jitsu.
Oh, it is.
It really is a community.
It is.
Even as simple as like someone looking for a carpenter. Sir, such and such is a good carpenter, or someone that's like going back to photography, or someone that's a DJ, or whatever it might be. Like, there's like everyone on the mat. Like,
there is.
Like, even during the pandemic and that, like, we were getting our news off like ambulance drivers on the mat, paramedics, like ICU nurses, a doctor, a guard, like, there's everyone on the mat. And then you just have the normal, like, young lad that was probably in a bit of bother when he was growing up, and how he's trying to straighten out his life. So it really does strip down like social boundaries. Yeah, it does. Yeah, it's great. It's the ultimate equalizer. That's what it is.
And you're saying about the 20-year-olds and the 50-year-olds. That's something that you'd never. Where else are they going to have a chat like that? Like, do you know what I mean?
When are they ever going to chat? Like, say, one of my favorite things to do, like, after training is, after having a hard session, all the ego's gone. You know what I mean? You should be gone at that stage after doing 10 hard rounds. You're sitting around the mat and you're just like chatting about life, or just chatting about just sometimes not of any importance. And it's just being there, being in the moment, and saying, this is what it's about. Because, like, we're all lucky enough to be in good health and everything else, and we have to be grateful for where we are at this moment in time, and like we're present.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When we're on the mat and we're chatting, because who knows what 10 or 20 years time or 5 years time or a year's time is going to look like. So all I can do is enjoy today.
Exactly.
You know,
so speaking of enjoying things, Kieran, what do you like to do when you're chilling out? You don't say you have much time these days, but when you do,
what do I like to do? Well, I love spending time obviously with my family and that. Like,
what age is your little lad?
He's 3 in November. So
did he have a? No, this might have been something. But was he on the mats? Was he even in the class there a while back?
Yeah, he started jiu-jitsu.
That's mad.
Yeah, I've started him jiu-jitsu about a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
So I've snuck him into the spider monkeys class. So we've spider monkeys class. It's 4 to 6 years of age.
Yeah.
I snuck him in at 2.5.
Hey, we had like little ones, maybe 3-year-old in at one point. I could be wrong on that, but.
He's a big young lad, and he's big for his age. Like he's as big as the 4-year-olds and that. Like so, he literally he's grown up on the mat. Like I've had him on the mat as like a newborn baby. Now I went down to his first class. I went down to his first jiu-jitsu class, and I haven't been down since because I'd rather him get trained by someone else until it's time for me to train him.
He's got Andrew down there. Is Andrew down there?
Andrew's down there. There's Lynn. There's Marie Kennedy, Jamal. You know, some great coaches with the kids.
Yeah.
And Mike was coaching the kids for ages as well.
Yeah.
And so we've some really good coaches there. Sharon's there as well.
Oh, cool.
My sister Sharon's a blue belt as well.
Is she blue belt?
She's a blue belt. Yeah, she's a monster. Even on the mats. Yeah, she's a killer on the mats. But she's doing a lot more CrossFit now. But he's running around the gym, and he's on the mats. To him, it's just spider monkeys, not jiu-jitsu. But for me, like I really want him to get a black belt in jiu-jitsu the same way that he's gonna have to have an education. He's gonna have to have manners. Those are 3 things I want from him. You know, I want him to have manners. I want him to be educated, and I want him to get a black belt in jiu-jitsu. He doesn't have to compete in jiu-jitsu. He doesn't have to pursue it. But I just feel that from what I've learned from jiu-jitsu in the time that I've done it, and I have a lot more to learn. Like it's taught me so much about myself. Like it's given me the confidence even to sit here and have this conversation. Yeah. Whereas if you rewinded, like say when I was like say, let's rewind 15 years ago, I probably wouldn't be able to have this conversation. You know, or
you and me both.
You know, it's true. I probably wouldn't be able to wouldn't be able to talk to schools. You know, so sometimes we get asked to go in schools and talk to them, and you know, talk to a crowd, and you know, whatever it might be.
It's hard to do that.
Teach a class, or whatever. You know, so it's taught me so much. It's taught me where I'm weak. It's taught me where I'm strong. It's showed me where I need to work on, and I'm very grateful to have it. And I know it's kind of cliche. You hear people saying, you know, jiu-jitsu changed my life and this and that, but it's honestly, it's for me, it's been just like I think Joe Rogan has a quote. It's jiu-jitsu. Well, he says martial arts is a vehicle for human development, and that's exactly what jiu-jitsu is for me. You know? But I completely sabotaged your answer there.
So when you're chilling out,
sorry,
you like photography? We've obviously spoke about photography.
Yeah, I do the cameras. I like to play around with the camera, and like take pictures and do videos, and I like to create stuff like that. I love eating, especially now the new diet I'm on is like 5,000 calories a day. So
is it really? Yeah,
5,000 calories a day. Yeah. So
well, I suppose you're burning.
I'm burning over 3,500 calories a day easy. Do you know? So and like this has been probably since November. I'm after putting on say about 5.5 kilos maybe since November. So with Tristan Kennedy, so I'll give him a shout out because he's very good. He's
been helping Sharon out as well, hasn't he?
He's been helping Sharon. Yeah. Sharon's in great shape. He's basically nutritionist for Conor McGregor.
Oh, is he? Okay,
he does his nutrition, and he looks after Charlie Ward and a few other lads as well. Yeah. But so I love to eat. I love traveling. Yeah. I'm really love traveling around Ireland. I know that's kind of like a big thing at the moment, but like I love Ireland. Ireland's like my favorite place in the world. Like
it's beautiful.
I've noticed like with myself, I love traveling to different countries to teach or train or just to see different countries. But I love coming back. Yeah. Whereas I see with some people like they don't want to come back. True. You know, but maybe because I get to travel a good bit. But I love coming back. Like home is home. You know, and this I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. I love Ireland. I love to try do some surfing, you know, so I've been surfing the last few years. I like to do that.
Where do you like, where's the spots that you go to?
The spots in Ireland where I would go to is, I love Lahinch. Lahinch is a great spot. I love the drive from even Lahinch, like say all along the cliffs of Moher to like Doolin, where you're looking out at like the wild Atlantic way. And I love Doolin and that, and I just love that area. Just for me, when I go down there, I come back re-energized.
Right, yeah.
You know,
Well, that's what you kind of want from.
that's what I
from
want.
it.
Yeah. And you have like Street of Beach up in Sligo, Strandhill in Sligo. You have a good load of good spots up in Bundoran. They're kind of like my favourite spots to go, that part of the country. And then like I've done, like said, last year I got to do a few surfing camps out in Forteventura, surfed in Portugal and a few different places.
Nice.
So like I'm not like by any means like say like high level or anything like that, but I really enjoy it and I love getting out into the water, and I love just getting away from the phone and getting away from you know, technology and that type of stuff.
It's like when I think Martin went to Sligo.
Sligo, yeah, Strandhill.
He went once and he came back. He thought he was a silver surfer.
Yeah, so did I. So did I. And then when I did a few surfing camps, and I've done a few surfing camps or courses down in Lahinch and then even out abroad, and I realised that right, okay, there's levels to this. It's like when I was surfing, say for the first couple of years, I thought right, I'm a blue belt, and then I realised that. No, you're not. You've only like a stripe on your white belt. You know, because there's like black belts out there that can surf at 1 foot backwards. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just look, when you look at those people, and I think I saw an amazing photo, and I think there's a documentary on Netflix about it, of a guy in Portugal. I think it's Portugal where it was, and the wave.
Nasri wave.
Is that what it is?
It's one of the biggest waves in the world. Nasri.
I was
it's
looking
like
at
100 foot or something like that.
Yeah, he's like just a speck in.
Yeah, it's a speck. Yeah, there's some big. There's a load of like. You can watch it on YouTube, like Nasri wave in Portugal. Like that's one of my goals is to not surf it now because I'm not nowhere near that level, but is to go out and just like take pictures and look at the lads surfing Nasri, because like that must be like a spectacle in itself.
Yeah,
like 100-foot wave. You know, it's serious. They get towed out by jet skis, but some of them get like fairly
injured. Did they?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, falling off, because you could fall from like 50 foot, like you know, straight down into water. That's like concrete with the wave crashing on top of you, and then the waves behind it.
Do you know? I'll tell you a story about my surfing experience. Right, I was in Florida. I think it was Florida. I was in, and I was on one of those buggy boards, and I came off. Right, the water was about half a foot, but I really hurt my neck. I genuinely like the board went up like at the back, right? So I landed on my head, and I kind of swallowed a bit of water, you know. You kind of panic. I was seriously like, it wasn't even a half a foot of water, but I honestly did. I like properly milled into.
I've been broke up a few times.
Yeah, I'd say so. I'm talking about half a foot of water, like at a what are they called? Buggy boards, is it?
Buggy board or body board,
something like you're like they're on surf. We're on surfboard. That's
I've been like I've got cracked in the teeth a couple of times. Ooh. Like say I go under, come off a wave, go under into the water, and then you're meant to, when you come up, the first thing you do when you come off a wave is, or when you come off your board, is put your two hands on top of your head and tuck your elbows in tight, because the board will come up and crack you on the head, because the board is attached to your foot by a leash. So the first thing you do is when you pop up, put your hands on your head and make sure you can see your board. And then start to swim over to your board. So one time we got some like big waves up, and it was Street of Beach up in I think Sligo or somewhere, Sligo Donegal border, and myself and a friend Marco. And like I came down and I came up, didn't protect my head, and bang, got the board straight into my teeth. And but the waves were good that day.
The waves were good. I had no teeth left, but the waves were dead.
I've had a few dodgy experiences on it. Like I've pushed it a few times on a few big waves, and that was like
when you shouldn't have. Do you know? Like
I just see that's the problem with me. Like if I climbed Croagh Patrick, I know the following week I want to do Mount Everest. That's why I keep saying to my partner Jamie, I'd love to do something like Mount Everest or Kilimanjaro or something like that. Now I know it's huge money and everything else, but I'd love to. I'm always out to test myself and try to do the next thing, and that she's like, no, you're not doing it. That's it, you know. Because
so I know she's got the. Would she be a little bit more? What's the right way of putting it without insulting anybody? Bit more level-headed when it comes to those things. Would that be the right? She's very intelligent and. She's a lot more intelligent than I am when it comes to that type of stuff, and she probably thinks about the grand scheme of things. I'm the type of person, if you're standing on a cliff and there's water there, I'm going to tell you to jump. She's going to tell you, look, I wouldn't jump. That looks a bit shallow. I'm like, jump, deal with consequences later. I think I'm on her side for most of that stuff.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? Even like I have friends and that, like, so they might say it to me, like even recently, you know, someone said to me about like a couple of times actually about people like say wanting to go out on their own working wise and that. And my whole thing is do it. You know, you won't regret it, and sure, like if it doesn't work out, well then at least you know you've tried. You know, that type of stuff. That's been my attitude. My attitude is nearly like all in a sense. Now,
but you don't want to smash your teeth in a surfboard.
Calculated risks. You know, like so I wouldn't. You know, I'd be kind of like I suppose it's just maybe it's the competitive kind of side of me or something like that. But Jamie's great. Like she's so supportive, and like say I wouldn't be able to do any of this
Yeah.
without her. Do you know what I mean? And she doesn't get enough credit, but yeah, I'm very grateful.
Well,
you know,
that's a
so-
nice little shout out for it, to be
Yeah.
fair. And finally, just the plans for the future.
Plans for the future. By the way things are looking now, I would like to live maybe up in the mountains in a log cabin. Or I would actually love, my goal is to eventually get up to the Sleeve Blue Mountains and move up there and maybe like get some type of my own kind of private jiu-jitsu type thing
That'd
up
be
the
good.
back or something like that, and I'd love that, and I'd love to just kind of like keep training, keep building the team, build some world champions, and take the MMA team as far as possible. We've some good lads in the team or on the team, the MMA team, like say Charlie Ward trains with us. He's fighting in a couple of weeks time. I'm flying out to Milan with him, so he's a big fight coming up. So I'd like to just keep doing everything. Like, I'm very happy and I'm very content doing what I'm doing, but I just want to improve everything.
It seems like you're kind of looking at what other people maybe like, you're, because it's a good sign of a coach, obviously, goes without saying, that you want the others to progress, that you're kind of helping along, like,
Yeah, it is. I really want to build like a team of killers, and I want like said likes of like my lads and that to get on the likes of Polaris and win, get to the ADCC and win like world championships and that type of stuff, and get fighters to the UFC. Like, I know we're going to get fighters to the UFC. It's only a matter of time. We have a good core group of lads there now at the moment. Like our MMA team, we've daytime MMA sessions, and we're building something like very special there. I can feel it just by the way the lads in. They're all in. Goes back to what we were saying in the beginning. Like, the lads are like literally watching MMA and grappling and everything, like say hour training together, and they're helping each other, and they're drilling stuff like say before class, after class, at the weekends. You know what I mean? They're always coming in. They're asking me questions like, what do I do in this position? I was caught here. How do I get out of this? And I know by their mindset and by the way they're talking that they're all in. So we've some good talent coming through the gym. So yeah, my main focus is the gym. Yeah. Obviously I'd love to. I love outdoors. Like, I love the whole, like, I love being up in the mountains, and being out in the sea and that type of stuff, and just long-term goals, I suppose, just like more experiences, travel the world, taste different food, experience different cultures, meet different people, and hopefully when it's all said and done, I left a positive footprint on the world.
A good legacy, like. Yeah,
that's what I'd like, eventually, and then when it's all said and done, like, I've helped a few people, and I've kind of enjoyed it, or lived a life worth living. Yeah.
Well, like, you have to remember, you already will have done that. It may not even have anything to do with jiu-jitsu or MMA or anything. It may just be an impact that you've had in someone's life. You've helped someone who maybe had mental health difficulties, who may not have told you. Yeah. But you've helped them along the way anyway. So there's all those little things as well.
Yeah, all that's important, and I love hearing stuff back. That, like that, whenever I'm lucky enough to hear someone say to me, "You've helped me out with such and stuff, such thing by something that you've said that maybe you didn't realize that you've said," and that, that to me is a pat in the back, and that's like, to me, it's like, keep going, you're doing something positive.
Exactly.
Because with all the negativity in the world and that, like, there's a lot of positivity in the world. But just as humans, for whatever reason, we tend to focus on like negativity. You look at the news, for example, like 99% of the news is negative. Yeah. Because it's negative news that sells. Like, if you walk down to the shop and you look at the newspapers, you look at the front page, I can guarantee you 9 times out of 10 those papers are going to be negative, because negative news sells. It's the same reason why people watch Coronation Street, EastEnders, and so on, because it's just drama.
It's drama. Yeah. Do
you know what
mostly
I mean?
miserable stuff. Yeah.
I've cut, like, years ago, I've cut. I don't watch the news. I don't. If I need to, I will. For whatever reason, I don't listen to the radio. I listen to my own music or my own podcasts. Me
too. Yeah.
I consume the stuff that's going to get me better. Yeah. So, say for example, I was driving up to Dublin yesterday. I was training, and I was listening to like the Tim Kennedy podcast with Joe Rogan and whatever else, and I chose to listen to that rather than listen to different kind of stuff that's going on now at the moment and everything else. So I choose to even something recently that I've done and kind of want to talk about a little bit. It's been a big leap for me, even though it's small, is I've deleted all social media off my phone. And I've done it a while ago, and there was actually a documentary that I shared at the weekend on my story on Netflix.
I watched that,
Social Dilemma, and it's very good. Brilliant. And it's been in my head for years, like as in, like, this can't be, like, this can't be healthy the way everyone's using it. Do you know what I mean? And especially for mental health. You know, social media is having a massive impact on people's mental health. My whole thing with social media is use social media as a tool. Don't let social media use you.
Yeah.
So what I've done recently is I've deleted all social media off my phone, and I've bought an iPad. So what I do is I do the updates for the gym, my own page, you know, for, you know, as in like promote myself as an athlete and for my sponsors and everything else. I do that on the iPad, and I put the iPad down, and then I head to training. And if I want to come home and I check my social media, I'll check it. Another thing that I've done, I've took Messenger off my phone, because you're too accessible, like, in a sense. So Messenger is on my iPad. My all the social media, like my social media platforms like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and that's all on the iPad, but none of it's on my phone. So if I, like, say for example, if any of my family or friends or anyone that I work with or anything like that want to get in touch with me, they can get in touch with me on my phone. They can get through to me on my email on my phone. They can get through to me on WhatsApp on my phone directly. And then social media is
can wait
on the iPad, and that's made a massive difference to me. You know, that's made a huge difference.
When you say like massive difference, do you mean what? In what way?
Like just clearer and just like less. Like, say for example, like you go to bed at whatever time. Just say it's 10:30, 11 o'clock, or whatever time you go to bed, and just before you go to bed, you get a message off someone and it's bad news. Yeah. Like, that sleep that night isn't going to be as good as what it should have been. No. Or that's going to be playing in your head. That's a negative seed that's planted in your head. Yeah. Whereas I'd rather go, work is done. This is my shut off time. Because, like, with the thing with running the gym and that, and Martin can vouch for me, and anyone else that runs a gym, it's 24/7. Yeah. It's not just the hours you do in the gym. Some people that maybe like they're there for maybe, you know, a few months or whatever, they go, oh, you know, it's handy. You come in, you train, you go home, you do whatever you want. Yeah, it's not like that. No. It's 24/7. Even content for classes and coming up with courses and dealing with, you know, whatever, everything that goes along with it. So I need a cut off point. Yeah. And we go back to what we were saying in the beginning, balance. Like, I need to balance. I would rather be playing with my son and having a good conversation with my family or my partner Jamie, rather than looking at someone else's story on what they had for dinner. Yeah. You know, I don't care what anyone has for dinner. Like, you know,
it never looks nice. You notice that?
It never looks nice. It never looks nice. But you know, but that's the thing. It goes back to what people do is they compare themselves to other people, the way they're living, and that's not necessarily real. Like, say for example, every single photograph I put up on Instagram of me training is filtered. Yeah, I don't really look like that in real life. Do you know what I mean? I'm not that tanned. No, but you know what I mean? It's just an effect. Yeah, and like, say for example, like, social media to me is a platform for me to promote myself and my gym, and that's it. And my sponsors and everything else that goes with it and that. And obviously you want to make there's different things to go, like there's different things that go with it. You want your social media page to look good and be oh yeah, you know, you want people to follow you and to be. You're better off having good pictures and good quality rather than bad.
Don't be invested in it.
Yeah, that's all important as well. You know, so if you're gonna do anything, you might as well do it right. You know, but that's been a huge difference to me. Like, so there's like dealing with stuff like the next day, not being as accessible. Like, say for example, my phone is turned off here, your phone is turned off here, where we've been able to talk for so long. And when do you get these types of conversations anymore? Never. We've had no disturbances. We're able to chat. And I know that we're doing a podcast and that, but even doing this type of stuff, it's real. It's the way people should be. We should be interacting with each other, you know, face to face or whatever else. So I just find that with everything else that's on your phone and that, it's you're too accessible. Now, don't get me wrong, like, a phone is great. Like, say for example, you gave me the coordinates of how to get here today. It brought me right to the door. You have a sat nav on it, you have your phone on it, you know, I can Google stuff, I can, you know, check the prices of stuff or, you know, the opening and closing times of things, and that's great, and that's what I want to use it for. I want to use it for a tool, whereas I don't want to be just like flicking through social media if I'm just walking through an airport, or if I'm just like on a beach, or, you know, if I'm at the Cliffs of Moher or something like that. Like, enjoy being in the now. You know what I mean? I agree. Enjoy the real world.
Yeah, I agree. We obviously use the accounts for the podcast, and it's great. We're getting some great interactions and stuff like that. But it's so different to me because when I don't have Instagram, my own account, whatever. But it's so interesting to me, like, how much I get messages now where I can't imagine, like, because I talked to Martin about it, he's constantly being messaged by gym members and stuff, and you're obviously the same. it must be so. It's too much. Like nobody's is
No, it's
prepared
too hard
for
one
that
person.
Yeah, it's not.
Because
you know.
when you're running a gym, like say for example, like just say if you just teach jiu-jitsu, when you run a gym, like you're not just a jiu-jitsu coach.
Yeah.
You're a friend, you know. You're
An agony aunt.
Yeah, you know, you're nearly like a psychologist. You're a sports performance coach. People are asking you tips on diet, nutrition. You know, you're a marriage counselor. You're you know, maybe someone's battling like some type of addiction, or maybe someone like needs a letter because they're in trouble, or you know, there's so much that goes along with it. And then there's just general questions, like you might get stuff like you know, like what time is class on tonight? You know, or do I need to bring, or do you might, or you know, I'm a few minutes late, and that's grand, and that's all that. And I always try I always try treat everyone as an individual, because everyone is an individual. Like say for example, you go through airport security and that, and they're just like, a lot of the time the experience isn't the best in airport security, because they're just sick of looking at people.
Of course they are.
You're just a number going through there.
Yeah.
But then when you go through airport security and then you meet that person that's like extra nice, or if you're traveling through a kid and he's like, oh look, here, go up to the front, or here, do you want a lollipop, or do you know whatever, just doing something when your kid is crying or whatever, and just that kind of like human contact, or just that like kind of treating you as an individual, and that like that's real.
That's you
know what I mean. So I know that I know that's important, and that, and I try to treat everyone as an individual. And like I said, I love coaching, I love helping, I love doing that. But the thing is, you need time for yourself. Yeah. Because how are you meant to help other people if you can't help yourself?
I agree. And do you know what? Like with all that being said, like I would highly recommend watching that documentary.
Great documentary. That's why I showed it. Like normally I wouldn't share anything about like about a movie or anything on Netflix, but I thought it was so important to for people to watch it. It's social dilemma, and I honestly think like that's a positive. That's something positive. Like to see at the moment, as in like to highlight that. I sent that on to all my family members, you know, my brother and sister and my parents and that. And I think it's so important for people to watch that, because you can literally get wrapped up in like, why didn't she like that, or why didn't he, or and then your mind starts playing tricks on you. It's not real life. It's not. Maybe that person is doing exactly what I'm doing at the moment, where I was literally on social media like 10 or 15 minutes today. I updated the bits and pieces we had to do in the gym, answered a few text messages, you know, or sorry, a few messages, and then now I'm off it. Yeah. And then when I go home, I'll get something to eat, I'll check it, it'll be gone, and then I'll head off to the gym. So, whereas people might say, like for example, I messaged him 3 hours ago on Messenger and I didn't get back. Well, you're probably not going to get a message off me for another few hours now.
But like you're saying though,
it's important.
What does that person do though? They start going, what did
I
do wrong? Mind.
What did I do wrong? He must be angry with me, maybe because I didn't go training today, or maybe I said, your mind plays tricks on you. Like how many times have you like been in a certain situation and you've been like you're I don't know, I've heard something recently. Who was it? It might have been Pat Lively or someone talking about it. It was a great analogy. I might butcher it a little bit. But it was basically along the lines of like it might not even been Pat that said it. I think it was, but it could be wrong. But basically, like say your neighbour borrowed a lawnmower off you, right? And he didn't give it back to you for 6 months or something like that. And you're like, you know, he's taking the piss or whatever else. I'm going to go down there and I'm going to say it to him. And if he turns around and says to me that you're not getting that, or I broke that lawnmower, or this and that, and then you have this full blown conversation and argument in your head that may or may never or happen. Then you go down to the neighbour and you go, you know, hey Tommy, have you got that lawnmower? Yeah, no bother, Jays, I forgot to get back to you. There it is.
You've angered yourself.
You fabricated it.
Yeah.
It's not real. You know, and it's the same with social media.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like it's just it's a weird time. Like I sent Sharon on the video or the screenshot of like the social dilemma, the documentary and that, and she watched it, and I rang her Sunday morning after I came home from, or yesterday morning when I came home from training in Dublin, and I said to her, what did you think of it or whatever, and she was chatting away, and then she just said one thing, like me, Michael and Sharon are like, we're the older kind of siblings, and I have two younger sisters that are like 17 and 21, and so there's a bit of an age gap between us and the other two. But I remember Sharon turned around and said to me, Bessie, do you remember when we were younger and we used to like, just like, you know, we'd be running around the fields, we'd be up in the hurling pitch playing soccer for hours, and this and that, and there was no phones. So I've got to experience, and I'm sure loads of other people have as well, that are around my age or older, I've got to experience life pre-phones, and then now obviously with phones. I remember not having a phone and then having my first phone. But say for example, my younger sister that's 16 or 17, like she hasn't she got to a certain age and it was inevitable she was going to have a phone. You know, and then
her first phone was probably a smartphone.
Yeah. My first phone was like a Bricka.
Yeah,
it was my mother's Motorola phone. It had like a big flip up thing, and I had to pull the aerial out and all that type of stuff. And I had to keep her phone number because I didn't even know if there were SIM cards or whatever back then. But when I'd be getting random phone calls then on it, and I was like, no, this is my phone now, Auntie.
I know, was
whoever. But it's strange. But the positive thing is to see documentaries like that that brings awareness to it. And even just talking about this, I think it's really important, you know.
Oh, I think so. Like, it's easier for us to say it because of our age.
Yeah.
But to kind of kick in with the younger people, like, it has to be kind of said over and over again. They'll need to hear it a few times by people they respect. I'm not saying they. Yeah. But, like, do you know what I mean? Like,
having these conversations and having these online and real conversations and, you know, not filtering anything like that is important for everyone to hear.
I think that's why people are getting really into podcasts and you know, because they are back and forth, and
they're real. But if you I think anyone that's listening should definitely watch that documentary. Like, there was one part in it. Did you see the part when the girl was taking selfies of herself? She's like 15, 16-year-old girl, and she like put loads of filters on it or whatever, and then she posted online, and then there was people writing like, OMG, gorgeous, you know, stunning, this and that, and then she got like maybe 5 or 6 like positive comments, and then one negative one saying, could your ears get any bigger? Which is a joke. The first thing she did was she put the phone down, she touched her ears, looked in the mirror, and she started feeling like you know, self-conscious about herself. And then that planted a seed that maybe I'm not as good as these girls or that girls or you know,
that's all it takes.
And that's not that's the same for everyone. That's the same for like a 40-year-old man, not just like a 16-year-old teenager in school. So I think the big thing you hear a lot of older people saying like, you know, oh, you know, young ones and young lads this day or these days or this and that and whatever. But there's older people that are like that as well. Maybe not spending as much screen time and that on it as what kids are. But and the weird part then at the end was kind of like the people like that you know, made like or invented the like button, or who worked for Pinterest or worked for there was Facebook executives or creators or whatever. All of them at the end were like, oh, we don't let our kids go on social media. Yeah. That was weird. You know, they're like, we know it and we know the effects. And like everything on social media from like, say, for example, on Messenger, when, say, if I write to you, for example, to keep me on social media, the bubbles. Yeah. You know, the bubbles. Like, that's put in for a reason, to show me that you're writing back. Yeah. Stay here. Give us your attention. We might be able to sell you something. Yeah. So then you stay on social media, and then you're able to buy, or they're promoting whatever it is. Maybe for me, it might be like putting a jiu-jitsu gi in your face, or, you know, maybe something got to do with sports or whatever. Someone else that's into, I don't know, cars, you know, putting car accessories and everything else. And it's so weird because the one of the creators in it for Facebook was saying that they put the like button in to spread positivity. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and then now it's changed. It's the worst. You know, even with, but it's funny. Like, say for example, one of the lads Saturday, I was out taking photos up in the mountains, and I was just after watching the documentary a couple of hours, and I just said, right, I'm going off to, you know, get out and whatever, and I got a message on my phone, right? So, and it was like such and such sent you an attachment. You know what I mean? This is just on my phone. It wasn't on Messenger or anything like that. And then I was like, oh, I may click into it, see what it is. And I was like, no, don't. Yeah. You don't need to see. But even that coming up on the phone saying, such, like, John has sent you an attachment. Yeah. And you're, oh, I may check it out. What is it? Or even like they'll see it when they watch the documentary and that. But for anyone that maybe won't watch it, like, even like tagging photos on Instagram or on Facebook, like, such and such has tagged you in a photo. Everyone's going to see what that photo is. That's it. I hope it's not a bad photo. Yeah. I hope it's not me drinking at the weekend, like, you know, being lifted in the air, doing crowd surfing. Do you know what I mean? At the party, I was so drunk that night. Yeah, especially whoever it might be. Like, again. Yeah, do you know what I mean? Or whoever it might be, or hopefully I don't look skinny in it. Hopefully I don't look fat in it. You know, especially if you're, you know, body conscious and everything else. So it's so strange the way it's set up, and it has worked. Yeah, people are literally like scrolling. Like, you go through airports, you go down to, like, say, the shopping centres or whatever else. You go like dinner as well. You know, you see people and are literally, and I've done it. You know, and you know, and only that now I've made a conscious decision to change. Yeah, because no one else is going to change it for me. No. I'm the only one that can change it. You know, and even talking to my partner about it, and how come we're always talking about how can we live better? You know, how can we give, like, our son more time, better quality time? How can we spend better quality time together? How can we you know, improve our rest and recovery? And, you know, it's that mindset, that growth mindset. But Yeah, that's been a big change for me over the last while.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because I didn't even mention it yesterday when I was doing the live thing, because it's definitely worth a look. I think it'll change people's minds and hopefully change their lifestyles a bit as well, which would be great. Kieran, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on.
Thanks for having me.
We ran. This is the longest one by far.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
No, it's a good thing. But poor Grace was the longest, and she only set the record about 2 episodes ago. So sorry, Grace. It's Kieran's fault. No, it was really great. Thanks a million, Kieran.
Thanks for having me. I really enjoyed it.
Oh, brilliant. We'll get through these quick enough. Thank you to John, who was contacted Kieran first, because I don't like contacting people I don't know first. To John's family and to Megan. Thanks to Jer, my mum, my dad, and my grandfather. I always thank those people, because the podcast wouldn't be, it wouldn't be here without them. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't done so. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Spotify, Apple, and Anchor, and Google Podcasts, and a few other ones. You can have a look for them. Thank you very much for tuning in, Kieran. Best of luck in Polaris.
Thanks very much.
I'll be keeping an eye out for it. I'm sure we'll see the videos and all that.
You will, yeah. Be all over on the internet.
Yeah, probably illegally, but I apologise for that.
We won't say any icons anything about that, but UFC Fight Pass, September 27th.
Brilliant. Thanks a million, Kieran. We'll see you on Sunday, everyone, and thanks for listening. Take care. Bye.